In a world. In a world. Alright, what up, fam? Um, please stop spamming the chat. I had to turn the slow mode on, and I don't really like doing that, so hopefully everything sounds good, because the audio sounds kinda sketchy in my headphones, but hopefully it sounds good for you guys. I'll try and turn the slow mode off in a second. I might just have to time that guy out if he keeps spamming. Alright, so, um, tonight is titled "My Testimony," and, seeing as how my stream a couple nights ago, about Christianity has 700 comments of people spiraling and telling me, "We watch you for flat earth content, not to talk about this," and I figured the only responsible thing to do would be for me to further talk about the scriptures. A little support, we have to keep you on this full time. Thank you so much, Rich P, for the $5 super chat. VSV1, thank you for the 1111 super chat. Much love. NASA audits, flame emojis. Thank you, Earth First Space Later. All right. Um, so I'm gonna kind of tell you guys what happened with me and what I think and what my position is and stuff like this. And I think it could be very edifying for people. Um, I'm gonna just try and stay real chill and not take the bait in the chat. All right, so I was raised Christian. Um, about 13, 14, you know, really 14, 15, I started questioning the validity of it. And I'd bounce all over the place, and I just really put it on the back burner. Was like, oh, it's just a thing I have to do. Go to church at least twice a week. I was put in a private college preparatory high school. I was sneaking out a lot, and I ended up getting moved to a Christian college preparatory high school. Um, so both private schools, of course, and it was called Trinity Christian Academy. Funny enough. So I do find it entertaining when people tell me the typical Trinity arguments as if I have never heard them. I literally went to a high school called Trinity Christian Academy. Okay. Um, Members of my family, a large portion of the people in my family actually go to a church called Trinity. So anyway, um, fast forward, we go to college. I've kind of already, there's 4,200 religions and yours is the right one, and I'm much more focused on football and girls. All right, move forward a little bit more, and I'm starting in college really, and even before that. I'm gonna try to be real transparent. Um, I was big on drinking and smoking, so I would smoke weed a lot, and really from 13 up, and I would drink a lot and party a lot, and uh, hang out with random girls. So, fast forward even further to, let's say, 2018. I had a house, I had a roommate, we had a bunch of parties, we would have people come over a lot more so, and I would drink and smoke and, uh, hang out with random girls, etcetera. I'd found out about flat earth in 2016. So that's why I can empathize with people that have found out about flat earth and, uh, they think the scriptures are trash or whatever, it's fake, it's a trick or whatever, I get it. I don't think that flat earth saves you, and I'm a living testimony of that, but okay. Um, I appreciate the conversation about the Trinity, and the general overarching conversation has been helpful for me and led to prayer and research. Beautiful. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Kenneth. And I love to hear that, bro. How old are you, Austin? 30. So, I had this moment where I was actually sober, which was pretty rare because I like, always smoked. And um, I kept getting this feeling. I call it a feeling. But you know how you have an inner dialogue? Well, my inner dialogue kept saying that we were in the season of the end, or we were approaching the end, one of the two, over and over. And that there was something I was supposed to do, and it just wouldn't go away, and it was super weird, and I was like, "Am I tripping? I'm sober. Did I don't know, like, am I, like, having a side effect of some other trip I've had? Like, is it I didn't know what was going on." It was like I was tripping. I didn't really control my inner dialogue, and it wouldn't go away, and it kept saying that random weird thing, in different ways, like, "We're in the end," and it was this really clear moment, and it was weird. So, I started to get annoyed, and I was like, "Whatever, I'll go pray," which I was, like, embarrassed to even do in my house, uh, to try to get it to go away. So, I went to my bedroom in the back, and I prayed, and I said, "Dear Lord, I feel like you're trying to tell me that we're approaching the end and you want to use me for something. If that's true, give me an undeniable sign." Amen. The thought did stop. Now, I was a big proponent and really still am of the power of the subconscious. So I'm like, okay, well, I've subconsciously got that thought to go away by doing that. Whatever. It worked. So now I can chill and I can end up going to sleep. So the next day, I owned a detail business. I was detailing, and some random coincidences happened. For one, I had a customer, this lady. I have detailed her car probably 50 times, and she was a frequent every week or two customer. I always detailed her car at her house or at where she got her nails done, because I was just a mobile detail, so I'd do it, you'd come out, it would be done. Anyway, for some reason, she was at a church on a Tuesday and wanted me to go detail her car there for the first time ever. I'm like, "That's weird." Uh, Mind you, the very next day. I'm like, "Okay, whatever, coincidence." I go detail another guy's vehicle, first time I'd ever detailed his vehicle. He comes out, nice older guy, really talkative, and just proceeded to start talking to me about the Bible randomly and about Jesus. I'm like, "Okay, that's pretty weird. Just a coincidence." I'm driving in my truck, really in my Pathfinder. I used Pandora, and randomly in F, a Christian rapper started playing. I'm like, "Okay, that's really weird. Never listened to Christian music at all. Why is a Christian rapper playing on my phone?" I'm like, "Okay, these are pretty weird." I asked for an undeniable sign, and I managed to find ways to deny that, right? Those aren't undeniable. So I went home, I took a shower. I was kinda tripping out a little bit, but I just put it away. And then I walked into the living room of my house. normally I would just start smoking or something. And randomly it popped in my head as I was looking over at a bookshelf I had in the living room that I should read the Bible. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. I guess I will. And I just want to give the disclaimer here. Once I start to lay all the stuff out that's happened to me, I'm not exaggerating any of it. If anything, I'm leaving details out that make it crazier. Anyway, so randomly I'm like, I should read the Bible. And then as I'm thinking that, I see the Bible on the bookshelf, forgot it was even there. It was really weird. I'm like, okay, I should definitely read it. So I go to get the Bible. It had dust on it. It was an NIV Bible someone had given me for Christmas, ironically. So it was just there in my books. And I think for some reason, the word Daniel, this is all a true story, bro. My mind just thinks of the word Daniel as I sit on the couch to open the Bible. I'm like, okay, I'll try to go to Daniel, you know? Um, I don't know where that is. So I think it's towards the middle-ish. So I just open the book up and I opened up to Ezekiel. In the top left corner, there is Ezekiel 38. Now, if I'm not mistaken, those books are right beside each other, I think. But anyway, so Ezekiel 38, top left corner of the page, is the big 38 for the 38th chapter. And I'm like, well, okay, I'll read this, I guess. I begin to read it. I did not know what it was. And it's like the end time war about Gog and Magog. And I didn't really fully understand. I'm like, this is a crazy, epic sounding war. I'm like, what is this? I start kind of looking it up. And I'm like, oh, this is like a war about the end. And I'm like, okay, that's crazy. I got this crazy feeling once that clicked in my mind. I'm like, I asked for an undeniable sign that I was being shown that we're approaching the season of the end. To a creator, let's be honest, that I didn't even specifically believe in. I was never atheist. I believed in a creator, but not specifically the scriptures. So anyway, I'm like, okay, this is getting kind of weird. So I was afraid to ignore it, meaning if this is real, it's not something you want to ignore. So I got a little bit more serious about it. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. The next day, I'm just kind of like, let me look into this Bible thing some more. I put it on the back burner for so many years. Um, and I really just wanted to like, I had no idea what to do. And I was tripping about the Ezekiel 38 thing. So I was watching YouTube videos, trying to figure out people's explanations. People got all kinds of interpretations of it and the different countries involved and stuff like that. I thought it was very crazy. And so I prayed. Um, and it wasn't like this like formal prayer or anything, but it was just like this spirit of confusion. Like I didn't know what I'm like, there's so many different things like the Bible, there's so much here, there's so many things that people say about it. Like I don't know if this is the truth, if this what it is weird. So I was just like wanting help. And Enoch gets suggested to me on YouTube when I'm walking to the store later that day. The book of Enoch. I find out the Enoch manuscripts were found and that it used to be in the scriptures and was removed, and that it was found in the Ethiopian canon, and that it's got like tons of gravy in it, and it explains all kinds of stuff the Bible doesn't talk about. It makes Genesis 6 make sense, which was a big deal to me. It was one of the big questions I had when I was young, and was like, wow, the Bible's insane, and these people are insane that believe it. I'm like, whoa, it got me excited about it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna help explain Genesis 6, the question I've had for so many years that I just thought Christianity was incredibly dumb and the Bible's super fake. And so anyway, I start looking into Enoch, and that kind of starts that. And fast forward a few days, because like once I started doing that and reading the scriptures, and thinking about this stuff, and I was just excited. Enoch is very awesome. Whatever you think about it, Enoch is pretty crazy. It's got lots of gravy, right? So it was cool. It was like fun to me. It wasn't burdensome or anything. And so I began to feel bad about stuff. Okay, I began to feel bad about cussing so much and making like sexual vulgar jokes, hanging out with random girls, talking to multiple random girls, and drinking and smoking a lot. I started to feel bad about it. Like, dude, mind you, anyone that knew me at the time would have known that that's insane. Dude, I would have clowned me, bro. Like, you you think that drinking and smoking too much is a sin? Oh, little Austin thinks hanging out with girls is a sin. Like, what a square, what a clown. I thought those things were super petty. I started feeling bad about them to the point where, like, as in feeling bad about what I'd already been doing up to that point. So I'm like, I was scared to ignore it. So I thought, okay, I will try to cut them out. Shouldn't be that hard. And it started getting really hard. I started having temptations and different girls hit me up and it was difficult. So I kind of got to this breaking point where I was like, there's no way that I gotta stop doing this stuff, right? Like this is petty stuff. Like stuff doesn't make me evil, you know. And I and I'm think all the stuff that people will say after the stream or in the chat and stuff, like I could make the arguments better. I was making them to myself. Like, this is just my subconscious. There is no true religion. There's 4,200 and yours is the right one. That's ridiculous. It's man's primitive attempt to explain the inexplicable. And we all have a piece of God. We're all God, the universe, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is just the subconscious, powerful mind. I have subliminal conditioning and programming from when I was a raised Christian to where I just reverted back to think that this somehow is valid. My subconscious belief based on that subliminal programming has convinced me to think that this is somehow real. I'm reading into this stuff. I'm making this stuff happen. I'm manifesting it with my own subconscious, stuff like that. All right. So it just wouldn't go away and I kept feeling bad about stuff. So what happened was I went to the park at like 6 in the morning, around sunrise. I drove to a park down the street from my house just to get out of my house, get out of that environment, get alone. And I parked my Pathfinder. No one's in the whole park, huge park. No one's there. It's got all kinds of sports fields, all kinds of stuff. And I say a prayer in my driver's seat. And I say, and there's all kinds of details I'm kind of leaving out, but so and like honestly, like you got like there's so many people in the chat that just you have such a like hateful, like judgmental spirit. I don't know why. Like, I feel bad about cussing, but not eating animals. Wow, like, we get it, you're the perfect person. The other like, everyone in the chat, just you gotta chill, man. You guys sound so, like, hateful and low vibration. I don't know why you think that gives you a moral high ground to treat other people like that, just like all the Trinitarians on the other video, but I'm not gonna get sidetracked. So, anyway, so I was in my car in the driver's seat. I had that same NIV Bible. I had not opened it up since I read Ezekiel 38, and I prayed, and all I can do is give my testimony, right? Like, no, I didn't feel bad about eating animals. I felt bad about the fact that I constantly cussed incessantly using vulgar language and references and sexual references. It was more so not the word, just how I was talking, vulgar, and I didn't bridle my tongue. I had no control over my tongue. I just talked crazy. You know what I'm saying? Um, no, it's not about taking criticism. It's about you being a gamma male and just like being lame. So anyway, the point is that so there were tons of things that I was doing wrong, including what I was eating. But I feel the creator, he had to get some of the bigger stuff out that was kind of distracting me. So anyway, I said a prayer. It was the second like actual like prayer I had said since the one I described at first. This is all 100% true, bro. Okay. So I said the prayer, Dear Lord, please help me apply discipline to my convictions. And it was a super sincere prayer, dude, because I was like struggling with it. I just couldn't wrap my conscious mind around that stuff being bad. I had no intention to stop, right? I'm just gonna block you, Savage, because you're just distracting from the chat to talk about how you're such a special boy because you don't eat meat. So if you want to talk about this the stream, that's cool. If you just want to constantly cry in the chat, it's really annoying. It's distracting. Okay. So anyway, so I said the prayer, Dear Lord, help me apply discipline to my convictions. Cause like, dude, I was just struggling, man. I was just like, it had been like probably 5 days. And I was just like, I want to smoke some more. I want to drink some Jameson. By the way, I'm not saying that these things are like sins and I'm better than you, or if you do these things, you're sinning, or I'm not your judge, right? There are some people in this world that think that they get to judge other people, but I'm actually not one of those people. I don't think. I think there's righteous judgment, but I try to be really chill with that. So, getting back to the point, I said the prayer, and I'm going to show you guys what happened. So, this is the NIV. I used to have pictures of it on my old phone, but I opened up the NIV Bible. It's 2,000 pages. Okay. This is so crazy to me to this day. I'm kind of getting goosebumps, dude. Let me share the screen here. Okay. So I opened up the Bible, same NIV Bible, and let me show you what happened. Don't listen to the negativity in the chat. Preach on, brother. We hear you. Yeah, of course, no problem. All right, so I opened up the Bible. Okay. Now what happened was there were thinner pages in this, but so you see how that. I hope you guys can see it. You see how the page is over my thumb. So it's like, say you opened up the Bible, but then there's a page sticking on top of your thumb. Okay. Now this page was actually physically stuck to the page before it at the top. It was physically stuck to it. And this was laying over my finger, okay? So I opened it up and I just went to the top left to read it. And I just said the prayer, Dear Lord, help me apply discipline to my convictions. I was being super sincere. It was really pretty peaceful sunrise. Anyway, open up the book, top left. I read the middle of a verse. So I'm like, oh, well, I need to flip it back over to read the beginning of that sentence. Now, this was in Proverbs, so they're real short, right? So I was like, let's see. So if I had opened it up to that page, and originally I would look at the top left, right? But since the page was stuck together, I looked at the top left, its middle, I flip it back over and look at the bottom right. Okay. This is what I read in the NIV. Proverbs 15:32, NIV version. Those who disregard discipline despise themselves, but the one who heeds correction gains understanding. This is a 100% true story. And if you really take in the details that I just said, I want you to try to run the numbers on it because that's what I did. Okay. So instead of like the special boys who think they have all the answers, right? Like they know the Bible's fake, they know all this stuff, right? Just like be patient and just try and think about what I'm saying and be honest. Okay. This literally happens. I went to the park and I said, Dear Lord, please help me apply discipline to my convictions. I was like crying out for help. I literally felt like I couldn't do it. Okay. I opened up the Bible. It's like 2,000 pages long. I open it straight up. I look at the top left. It's in the middle of a sentence. I then realize that that's not where my thumb opened the book up to. There's a page stuck to the page my thumb's on overlapping my thumb. I pull it apart, it makes a, like, sound, it's literally stuck together. Flip it over, read it, and again, it says, "Those who disregard discipline despise themselves, but the one who heeds correction gains understanding." The first sentence I read in a 2,000-page book after saying, "Dear Lord, help me apply discipline to my convictions," literally says, "Those who disregard discipline despise themselves, but the one who heeds correction gains understanding." I was being corrected for things that I thought were petty. I disagreed with my convictions. I thought, dude, if the girl wants to come hang out and neither one of us want to be serious, that's not bad. That's petty. If I talk vulgar, that's not bad. That's petty. If I drink too much Jameson? That's not bad. That's petty, bro. It's Jameson. If I smoke constantly and I'm always high, that's not bad. That's petty. I disagreed. I had to heed the actual correction, right? It was so directly relevant. By the way, look at the different translations. Okay. You're not going to see it. It doesn't say that in all these other versions. So you have ESV doesn't say the word discipline. Discipline. KJV doesn't say the word discipline. Right? New King James also doesn't. These don't say. A few of them do. Right? But the main versions here, King James, New King James, ESV, they don't say discipline. But the one I had, which I can't stand this translation now, it says discipline. So anyway, my point is that was like insane to me because that was 2 for 2. 2 actual prayers, 2 times I opened the Bible, just 2. I didn't pray more in between it. I didn't read the Bible more in between it. 2 for 2. I opened it up directly to the answer. The second one was undeniable. Statistically speaking, I ran the analytics. I'm like, that's really crazy. I don't remember how many times that the word's in there. And it's not really just about the word. It's like that's directly relevant to what I was going through. So for me, I'm like, wow, this is insane. At that point, I had this. I wasn't. I was like scared in the sense that I'm like, I could feel that there's something way bigger and way stronger than me there and like doing that. And I'm like tiny. I'm like, whoa. At the same time, I was like so happy because I'm like, this confirmation that this is super real and there's like a direct connection that's like answering me through the book. Now, I know tons of people are like, how do you know that's I heard other people say that about their book? And okay, cool, man. Cool. If you want to find a way to explain it away, it's fine. But have you sought the creator and then said a prayer and then opened up a book and got the answer? Instead of telling me what you heard someone else that's Muslim say, why don't you search out the truth? Why don't you see what happens? Okay. So that's what started my whole thing. So then I'm like, well, this is super real. I got real excited. What I did was I got in my car. I went and walked across the soccer field. No one's there. I went and sat on the bench and I started to read Daniel, which was the page or the book that had popped in my head when I tried to find it. I opened it up to Ezekiel, right? Just a second. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Daniel is right after Ezekiel. Dude, all I know is I added all these up. I didn't wanna believe it. I had a bias against the scriptures. I'm like, "Oh, Daniel popped in my head. That's not weird. I haven't read the Bible in years. I don't know where Daniel is at all. The word Daniel pops in my head. I didn't even know that was a book in the Bible. How is that not weird?" Then I go to open it up randomly. I just happen to turn to the book right beside Daniel, but it actually answers Ezekiel 38. So then when I recognized like, "Oh, Daniel's what popped in my head," I went and read it. I had this crazy spiritual experience that I read Daniel beginning to end out there at the park, okay? So that kinda started everything, and then I'm like I'm realizing, dude, where I'm at, like, I'm gonna end up messing up, like, I'm just around all this temptation, and it's just the norm, and, like, it's my house, but it's whatever, so, I end up getting a phone call, right, like, the next day, I get a phone call from a guy I barely knew, and he says, "So look, man, I got, something I wanna talk to you about. I just purchased this property. It's a basement house. I'm gonna end up building on top of it. It's out kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's on 5 acres. It's got a pond. Um, I need someone to look after the property. If you'll look after the property and you'll mow the yard, the 5 acres, and take care of the land, you can just live there for free. That'll be your rent, and pay for internet or something." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Okay." So all of a sudden, I'm all secluded by myself. I'm not in that environment where I have all this stuff around me that's gonna cause me to slip up and revert back into my old ways or go to the bars and go to the clubs. Now I'm a drive away from everyone, and I'm all by myself. So then I start praying, I start fasting, I start looking into the scriptures, reading them. I order this really big KJV study Bible, and I reverted back what I thought in my mind. I'm like, dude, I'm stupid. Looks like my family was right this whole time. Looks like my school was right, my church was right, both sides of my family was right, my mom and dad were right. Turns out they were right. So I'm really excited. I'm telling about it. I can tell that they're kind of skeptical. Many times in my life, I've kind of would have hard times maybe, and I'd be like, "Oh, I prayed," or "Oh, I had this whatever," and I can tell they're kind of like, "That's really good to hear," but they wanted to see if I was actually gonna like mean it. But I was just really excited. I was telling them like, "Look, you were right." Like I was trying to convey this experience. It's like they weren't really understanding how like insane it was. It's like I know some people in the chat won't fully understand it, but maybe they're not supposed to, bro. I don't know. But it is actually very insane. So, like, statistically speaking. So, anyway, I just immediately thought, "Okay, family was right." So what I start doing is I'm like, "Oh, I revert back to my religious believing." I realized pretty quickly I didn't know anything about the Bible. And, everything that I believed, I had heard a preacher say it, or I had heard my parents say it, and I had never really read the Bible myself. I had read pieces here and there maybe, but I had never really just read it myself, prayed about it, tried to figure out what it is, much less look at the original languages. I just list everything I thought I knew about what was in the Bible, it was just because I heard other people saying it, okay? So I started to learn new things. One of the first things I learned, for one, I was like, look, what I actually did was I deep dove into like the historicity of Yeshua, um, and proved that he existed. I debunked Zeitgeist, which had really I had fallen for Zeitgeist, um, a few years before this, and I was looking into all that. I was binge watching atheist historians saying like you have to admit he existed. I was doing a lot of study like from the intellectual perspective about like did this guy actually exist, stuff like that. And then um I started finding stuff out. So I found out that Jesus wasn't his name. Now, at the time, I was, like, all about that. I was like, "Oh, I discovered the lie. They call him Jesus, but his name wasn't Jesus. It's Yeshua." I'm, like, going all over Facebook talking about it. Now now I know that it's much more about your intention. If someone says Jesus, I don't feel the need to automatically correct them. I'll go back and forth and use the word Jesus with them. I think it's about your intention. I don't even necessarily think it was for sure ill intent behind the translation of the name. I do find it interesting that the Talmud defines it as Yeshu, meaning may his name and remembrance be blotted out. I find that interesting. But either way, at the time, I thought it was this major revelation, but it was one of the first things he showed me. So then, long story short, I was fasting and I had this crazy spiritual experience when I fasted for a few days, like crazy, bro. Like I fasted to try to get spiritual answers. I didn't fast to be super healthy or to lose weight or whatever anything like that. I just wanted to figure out some of these questions because I was kind of tripping and I didn't know. It's very confusing. That's why all the modern Christians that are so judgmental and so hateful and mock people and call them the Antichrist and tell them that they're going to hell and that they're going to burn in fire. Like, dude, it makes me so mad, bro, because it's so confusing. The truth is, there's so much information. We're in a time of major confusion and deception, and it's really hard to figure out what's going on. And there are many different avenues you can reach where you're like, "Oh, the Bible's just super graveled, and it's just like all these other religions, and it's fake. People made it to control us. Jesus is a metaphor for the sun. All these different right? Like I get it. And then you start reading all the preachers disagree, and there's hundreds or thousands of different denominations and interpretations, and they use all these big words in seminary to explain each different thing, and all the Christians scream at each other, and they're hateful, and they all say they're the ones going to heaven and everyone else is going to hell. They all contradict themselves. They're all hypocritical. They basically say, well, since they said a certain phrase, they can live however, and that they're going to go to heaven, but you're going to burn in hell. And it's a lot. And that's why I have like this personal disdain for people acting like that. And I can tell you the creator doesn't like it. So anyway, moving forward, that's what started my process of learning. And I just began to learn a bunch of different things. And then I had to, so he was going to start building on that house. So I had to move out right when COVID hit. I had to move out. I had 30-day notice because they were going to rip the roof off that place. And everyone's freaking out. It's right when COVID hit. If you remember, everyone's freaking out. So no, I can't find anyone to rent me a house. It's just really chaotic. So I can't find a place in my hometown. So I end up having to go to a small town like 45 minutes away. I think the creator did that as well. Anyway, so then I'm there and I just start growing from there. All that to say that um it's a process. The creator, now if you listen to what I'm just saying and you're honest, you have to be honest. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, you should be honest enough to admit the creator was clearly working in my life, bro. I was saying prayers. And dude, it was so amazing, man. I had a dog. It was just me and my dog. I was like seeing sunrises in this beautiful place with a lake, and it was just so peaceful. It was really crazy experience. And it really like grounded me and set me on this new trajectory. And my main point with saying that side note is although I still had a lot of beliefs that I consider to be completely wrong and against the scriptures and deceptions and doctrines of men and traditions and lies, I was sincere. I just wanted to know the truth. I became thirsty for the truth, bro. I started diligently researching it. I'm talking binge watching atheist historians. I want to find the best arguments against Christ and that he existed. I was just thirsty for the truth. I was sincere. When I was struggling, I asked the creator to help me. Okay. So that's basically how that all went down. And then we fast forward through, if I had to sit here and tell you all the crazy experiences I've had, we talk forever. But where my prayers have direct answers, there was another time that I asked the creator, like, do you want me to use the gift you gave me, uh, basically to be able to come up with like raps really fast or whatever, like for music? Do you want me to use music? I open up the scriptures and the first word I read is music. Like, you can't even make that up, bro. You can't even make that up. The first word, as in my eyes just looked in the middle of a page and saw the word music. And you have to at the least say, like, my subconscious is super strong and I'm able to find it before my conscious realizes I found it, something like that. You have to say something like that. But anyway, so then move forward, and I'm not telling people like, oh, just go pray and open the book and that's how it works. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just telling you what happened with me. Okay. And I was still growing, I was learning things, and I was all over the place. And I was honestly probably thinking I knew more than I did. And the scriptures is a lot. You can study your whole life and not know all the answers. So move forward, then I end up feeling led to go on tour. I go on tour. That ended up being a crazy situation, but I think the creator did that and used that to have me and Chris go on tour. And dude, Chris can tell you that tour was insane. He would see my bank account just go from like hundreds to 37 cents, and like it was insane because I would just be like, the creator's gonna like show us what to do in a second, and he would, or I'd get a donation last minute when we needed it, or like when I was on tour. And, like, I'm growing through this process is my point. This whole point, I was sincere. I would mess up. I had things I needed to work on. I would, slip up on certain aspects of my life, still trying to get better, but I just wanted to know the truth. I wanted to speak the truth, and I wanted to represent it no matter what. So then now we're on tour. Uh, we had the whole situation in Key West, and then, um I get out and I'm like, I do a stream. I explain to everyone what happened. It gets deleted. It gets removed from YouTube, and I get banned from YouTube for a couple weeks. As soon as I get out, I'm like, all right, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm going back to the house. I'm going back to Tennessee. I'm done. There's no way I can afford to do any of this. I can't even pay my bills. I was paying bills back at home at the same time. I'm like, I'm done, right? Like, I can't do this. I give up. I was really mad. We were playing pickleball like 6 in the morning on the beach. And then I look at my Cash App and it's $777 and not one donation. It's like dozens. It's like multiple donations, and I used the Cash App debit card to make purchases, so it was like 738, 12.99 or whatever coming off the card, and I had $777 and 0 cents exactly, right? Right after I was about to give up, and I'm like, "Oh, wow, I can't give up," and I went from, like, super mad to, like, "Oh, I'm being stupid again. I need to trust the creator." Chris was there, he experienced it. Very crazy. So he's just been working on my life since then. You know, fast forward through the tour, then I'm at um Jack's and he's helping me learn about the Hebrew. We're doing all kinds of study and Jack is just like super diligent and there for me, bro. And he's like, we're like, I'm like studying the Hebrew version of Matthew, will be in Nehemiah Gordon, and reading the Hebrew and reading the scriptures and trying to figure all this stuff out like around the clock for 2 weeks straight. Just trying to figure it out, trying to learn this stuff. I'm learning tons of stuff from Jack, but Jack's not coming in there and telling me what to think. Jack's coming in there telling me what he thinks, and I'm challenging everything he says. I'm asking him to show me where it says that. I'm like, wait, let me see it. Because he was saying crazy stuff. Like, oh, it doesn't say 10 commandments. I'm like, what? Like, show me. And he showed me and backed up every single thing that he was saying. And I sat there and I was just soaking up information. Long story short, towards the end of that stay, I've been talking to Jack and I talked to Jack. I'm like, I think I finally realized like I'm ready to have a wife, bro. Like I want a wife. And I'm just kind of I don't want to get impatient about it, but I just feel like that's what I need because it's like I cut out like talking to girls for a long time at that point, and it was like getting really difficult for me because that was just kind of one of my vices, and I cut it out for like 3 years at that point completely. And I'm like, this is getting intense. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to be impatient, but I need a wife. He's like, just go pray to Yah and tell him what you want. He's like, just go tell him what you want. That's what you have to do. I'm like, okay. So I think it was the next morning. Um, I go out in his woods out by his creek. I bring my scriptures version Bible, or maybe it was his. It was his scriptures version. I go out into the woods and I say, um, I just tell him that I want a wife. I tell him I want a wife. I kind of wanted confirmation I was supposed to get a wife. I didn't know where we are in the whole timeline of what things are happening in the near future and stuff like that regarding the end. So I said, like, my heart, you know what I truly long for. I long for a wife that loves me, and that's younger than me, has no children, wants to have lots of children, etc. Like, is a truther. And then I open up the scriptures and it says, the Lord says, take a wife and children, as in the first sentence that I read when I open up the scriptures Bible, the first sentence that I read says, the Lord said, take a wife and children. First time I've ever prayed for a wife in my life, that's the first sentence that I read. I didn't read through a page and find it. I didn't read through a paragraph and find it. I didn't flip through the book looking for it. I didn't read a few pages and find it. The first sentence that I read said, the Lord said, take a wife and children. I immediately got like super happy. And by the way, as I read that, I felt I felt the creator, bro. And the wind gently blew and I saw the leaves gently blowing and I felt it while I read it. Looked up right after I read it, seeing the wind blow right in unison with it, and I just knew immediately, like, I was so happy. I'm like, was so thankful that the creator said, like, "You're gonna have it." And, sure enough, by the end of the tour, I found my wife, and we have a beautiful baby girl in the other room now, um, and they tracked our conception date back to our wedding night. So it's very crazy. It's very crazy, and I'm very blessed. And I've just been what I have to do is when I'm shown information, I have to look into it. And when I figure it out, if I've publicly said something wrong about it, I have to correct it. Okay? And the Trinity is one of them. The Torah is one of them. Is Jesus God is one of them. It's not I don't like, look, I love you if you disagree with me on those things, that's fine. I have to speak the truth. It's something I will never mess with. If you really listen to what I just told you in good faith, you'll understand why I'll never mess with it. It's way too real for me. It's insane. I know it's super real, and I don't care what other men say. Why would I listen to what they say when they're acting out of their own pride or their own ego? They just want to tear you down, or they want to feel like they know everything, so they have to make fun of you or undermine your testimony or tell you it's not real and mock you and ridicule you. Why would I comply to those type of people, to men, when the creator is real and working in my life, right? So that's like a pretty condensed version of my testimony. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but I will just say I'm still learning, bro, and I'm way more wise now than I was at the beginning of that process, and I still have a ton of wisdom to gain. I still need to be way more patient with people. I need to keep my temper better. There's a lot of things that I still need to grow in, and I'm just thankful that the creator doesn't leave you hanging, bro. He also doesn't make you do something. Okay? He's not going to force you into, talking to him or anything. So you can think you have it all figured out or whatever. If you wanted to ask me what I think salvation is, what I think is that it's about being sincere, having pure intention, submitting to the creator humbly, and just asking for the truth. You don't have to believe certain doctrines at a certain time. It's not like, "Oh, you got this far, now you're saved." It's not like, "Oh, you found the book, now you're saved." It's not that you say, "Jesus, come into my heart," which is nowhere in the book, and now you're saved. It's about that moment in your life where you realize that you're doing stuff wrong and you're convicted and you just seek the creator. You just humble yourself and you go talk to him. You don't talk to me. You don't talk to the chat. You don't go tell other people. You don't ask other people. You just get by yourself and you just talk to the creator. You're like, if you're real, reveal yourself to me. I want to know what the truth is. You have to humble yourself and you have to sincerely mean it. You want to know what it is. This is what it is. You have to actually mean it. So if you think you can trick the creator or hide stuff from the creator, right? Then you're not saying a sincere prayer. And it doesn't have to be like you're writing a letter. It doesn't have to be like, "Dear God, once upon a time, 7 ages ago." You don't have to talk like that, dude. Just talk sincerely. Just be honest. In fact, your inner dialogue is talking to the creator when you aim it to the creator. He knows. He's just sitting back like, thank you for like it's about time." He knows everything. He knows everything, bro. There's no hiding. So that's what it is. And in general, it is that you must persevere until the end. You must pursue the truth. Once the truth is revealed to you and you find that you have an obligation to expose darkness to light and speak the truth, keep looking for it and doing so as if you are a child. Be like that of children, to be humble, admit when you're wrong, just like I did the stream that is Yeshua divine. And I was like super cocky about it. Yeah, of course. Look, I and the Father are one. The Word became flesh. Are you kidding me? The Word was God. The Word was with God. It's an open, closed case. You guys are crazy, right? And now I have to humbly admit that I was wrong about that. That isn't the case. With much more diligent research, you find out it isn't true, that the current English versions and translations were actually translated and written with the presupposed bias of the Trinity doctrine. That's why they're translated the way that they are. When you look into, you have to properly define theos and God, and it can mean divine. It can mean like deity, divinity, divine being. It can mean ruler, and it can mean the supreme creator. You have to actually understand what that word means and read it in context and much more. And the point is, that's kind of what it all is about, bro. It's about, like, being diligent, looking for the truth. People get so mad that I'm still like, Jaren's still my brother, and that's my, like, brother for life, and I got his back. It's like, well, I don't care what you think, dude. I don't live for you, man. I prayed about my relationship with Jaren 3 years ago. Why would I listen to what you have to say about I prayed about it 3 years. I've talked to Jaren for so many hours with such real, raw, genuine conversation. I don't need your permission to talk to Jaren. Okay. The truth is that Jaren has sincere questions. He's critically assessing things. I disagree with Jaren on a lot. I think that Jaren is wrong about a lot. Okay. But I think that is sincere. He has pure intention. He wants to know the truth, bro. And if you think you already know all the truth, and he's trying to figure out the truth, then he's more in the right than you are. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that makes you triggered, bro, but you don't know all the truth. And so I won't get all into stuff like the Trinity and is Jesus God and stuff. At least that's not my intention. I will do a stream because people are really spiraling about it, that specifically breaks down every single verse that is claimed to support the Trinity, and I will show how all of them aren't. It's not correct, and people are saying that that stream was unfair because it didn't have enough Trinity people. Dude, I dropped the StreamYard link in the chat. I invited everyone. I didn't set it up to where there's one Trinity guy. Salute to him to be able to hold his own that long as well as he did. I didn't set that up. I was actually kicking people out of the room as people in the chat were saying that they wanted to represent the Trinity led us on. I was kicking other people out of the room to make room for more Trinity people, okay? Nothing to do with anything like that. That stream wasn't planned to be like that at all. Um, but the main thing is that you just have to be willing to admit that you're wrong about stuff, bro. And could I be wrong? Sure. That's the whole point, right? And that's how I'm a true earther. That's how I'm a true earther. So I think this is the thing about like I'll talk about the thing with Jaren for a second, right? So this is what Jaren experiences. He talks to certain people, I won't say any names, and he's like, so here is saying in Leviticus 25 that you can own people like property and pass them down. When he brought that up to me, I said, I don't what? That's no, I don't I would imagine if you get to the bottom of it, it's not saying that because it says that if you own slaves, then you should be put to death. But I'll have to look into it. He's like, well, read it. And it does read in modern English, especially NLV and NIV, which is what he was reading. I'm like, if it reads bad, I'm like, I completely disagree and disavow that no matter what. I don't think that you can take people against their will and force them to work for you like they're objects and property and pass them down to your children. What he will do is he'll run across other Christians that will defend it. They'll defend the mistranslated, egregious, immorally reprehensible English translation. They'll defend it. They'll be like, well, that's God. God works in mysterious ways. Who are you to judge God? Who are you to judge God? And it's like, of course, yeah, that person sucks because I know I have faith. Okay. So I'm like, we'll have to get to the bottom of it, bro. The truth doesn't fear investigation. I don't have to defend something egregious. The creator is pure righteousness and truth, you know? So that's kind of what it's all about. And something else is it's like another place that people mess up is they've seen through like Catholicism and modern Christianity and different religions and that they control you. And so they think that they have it all figured out now. All religion is to control you. I have risen above that. I understand profoundly that all religion is just to control you and it's like they look down on people that believe in the scriptures or whatever it is and then they just start to make up what God is in their own head. So they just start to say, "Oh, well, God must be like this. What if I'm God? What if the earth is God?" And they just start making stuff up, anything to make them not be morally accountable, and they stop looking for the truth. You know, they just read the modern English mistranslated, taken out of context stuff, and they're like, "Oh, this is so wrong." Blah 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 blah. Blah. And I you say that's what Jaren's doing, but not really because Jaren wouldn't still be talking about it. He wouldn't still be asking questions. He wouldn't still be in open to other people giving him answers. So that's my point. Most of the people are just like, "You're so stupid. You fell for the Jewish trick. You fell for the Jewish trick." And then all these Christians really show their true colors during the Trinity stream, right? Where they're like, you're gonna burn in hell. You're the Antichrist. You've lost it. You have nothing to do with the Creator. You're gonna burn forever. You're not saved. You're a demon. You're a Jew. You think you're a Jew. You're trying to control people under the law, like all these crazy ad homs and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, you're such a good representation of the Creator, bro. Wow, look at the fruits of the spirit that you're giving off here. And it's just like the globe, where I get ad hom straw mans to add diversions, red herring fallacies, non sequiturs, all this crazy nonsense, because there's an emotional connection to the doctrine that you were taught. Dude, I get it. I went to Trinity Christian Academy. Okay. I know all about it. So, and this is what you should do. Go to that stream, and this is just like, I want everyone to please listen before, because I brought up the Trinity, so people are gonna start spiraling. So let's all bring it back down and let's calm down for a second, okay? Everyone calm down. If you don't need to start ad homing me, that's not how you debate. If you are truly a believer and you have the fruits of the Spirit, you're not gonna start personally tearing people down and talking about how they're gonna burn in hell forever, okay? So just calm down, and I want everyone to really listen to this part right here, please. Let's just take a moment. We're gonna take like a 5-second moment. Okay. Please pay attention to this part. This is very important. There are many verses that people bring up to supposedly support the Trinity, to support the co-equal oneness doctrine, and that Jesus is God. Okay. There are many verses. Please listen carefully before getting emotional. Okay. Whenever they bring the verse up, like it's a slam dunk, just always think about the parallel with Globers. It's like insane how similar it is. They think they got a home run, sunsets, whatever it is, eclipses, right? Whatever it is. So they drop the verse on you, okay? And then you're like, okay, let's go look at the verse. You go to the verse, you go to the Greek, you go to the Hebrew, and you show that what they just said was wrong. You show it objectively. And what they do is they don't admit that they were wrong. They change the subject to another verse. They don't say, okay, well, I still believe in the Trinity, but I won't bring that verse up anymore. You're right. It doesn't support my position. You're right that the original language says something different. They will just ignore it and bring up a different point. That's what globe earthers do. So, a piece of advice to the Trinity people: say you're correct. Just like I would tell the globe earthers, you're doing more harm to your position than good if, when you're in a conversation or a debate about it and you're shown to be wrong about something, you don't humbly say, okay, you're right. That verse doesn't say that in the original language. I was wrong. You can't concede even one thing ever, just like a globe earther, because you have an emotional connection to your religious belief, just like a globe earther. And you're afraid of ever turning against it because of how much in the public you've been about your position, just like a globe earther. So then you can't even actually entertain the alternative without bias, just like a globe earther. So you begin to gaslight and personally attack the opponent, just like a globe earther. Then you begin to appeal to the authority of the church fathers or different preachers, just like a globe earther. And then you say, all the Christian churches agree. We've known for thousands of years. Everyone knows this. Appeal to consensus, just like a globe earther. And then you start to change the subject when you're proven wrong, just like a globe earther. It's very crazy. Okay. And it's say you're right about the Trinity. That behavior is super detrimental to the Trinity. And if you go read the 700 comments on that video, that is literally what you're gonna see. Dude, it's verse after verse after verse. They said it proves the Trinity. I took 2-3 hours straight responding to comments, bro. You guys know how time consuming it is to sit there and just respond to everyone's comments in depth with freaking like paragraphs with the Greek and the Hebrew cited and everything, and then people just say nothing. They just change the subject to something else, just like globe earthers. It's a waste of time because they're not being honest. You have to break the spell, dude. If you're not even willing to look at it and show, and let's get to the Greek, let's get to the Hebrew, let's address the actual points, you're lying. So now you're lying to tell people they're gonna burn in hell. That's crazy. When in fact, of course, it doesn't say burn in hell. It says cease to exist. And also, people will say that this is a straw man. Look, I'm not straw manning. There's like 20 different interpretations of the Trinity, and they all contradict each other, and everyone has a different way to try to explain it. Okay? So I I'm just explaining that you guys have gotta chill. You guys have gotta chill. I can give you an example of one of the many contradictions of the Trinity real fast because I don't want it the whole thing to be about the Trinity or anything. And this is where watch, this is just a good example. You know, when you're like talking to a globe, you're like, okay, so how can gas pressure sit next to a near perfect vacuum? Oh, well, it doesn't sit next to it, it's a gradient. Okay, so where's the Earth's atmosphere end? It doesn't end anywhere. It's just a gradient. Like, so the Earth's atmosphere extends forever? No. So where does it end then? It doesn't end. So then it extends forever? No. Okay, then it ends. So where we call space, okay? How do we go to a near perfect vacuum with 14.7 psi at the surface? How do we have gas pressure next to a vacuum without a physical container? Second law of thermodynamics. Gravity. Okay. So if gravity is the strongest at the surface, then how come it doesn't prevent gas pressure from filling the available space there, but it supposedly does it with a much stronger vacuum with much more space with less gravity? It's, they just say, oh, they both exist at the same time. So it's a law of non-contradiction. Okay, but they'll start doing mental gymnastics to explain how somehow that isn't a blatant contradiction. They'll just start doing mental gymnastics. They'll literally just start making physics up. Right. Same thing with this right here. So you have James 1:13 tells us that the creator cannot be tempted by evil. Okay? And we'll read it. The creator cannot be tempted by evil. He can't be. He's incapable of it. Like he can't be tempted by evil. He's righteous. Okay. According to Luke 4 and Matthew 4 and Hebrews 4:15, Jesus, Yeshua, was tempted by evil. Now, this is where they say, oh, well, he's 100% human and he's 100% God. So his human side was tempted, but his godly side wasn't tempted. Okay, so could his human side have sinned? No, he's God. He couldn't sin. So then he wasn't tempted in his human side. There's no rebuttal. It says God cannot be tempted. You say Jesus is God. It says Jesus was tempted with evil. Specifically with evil, right? Because it says in the Old Testament stuff that the creator is that you will be like you're tempting the creator, as in don't do something evil and tempt him to have to step in and cast judgment, etc. He can't be tempted with evil. Now here's the point where you would have to be honest, give an intelligent, specific, substantive response as to how somehow it says God cannot be tempted by evil, and you say Jesus is God, but then you say that Jesus was tempted by evil. You would have to explain it, not say I'm gonna burn in hell. Okay, nothing like that. It says God cannot be tempted by evil, not tempted like we are. He has no inclination to sin. That's a red herring fallacy. Where it's actually obfuscation. You're not addressing it. So technically, I guess it would be a non sequitur. Okay, it's a very specific point that I'm making. It says that he was tempted by evil, and it says that God cannot be tempted by evil. Okay, let me give you another example. Trinity people will say, "Did Jesus not say that he was the way, the truth, and the life?" Yeah. Why'd you leave the rest of the verse off? It says, "No man come to the Father but by me." Let's talk about Philippians like 2:6. So Philippians 2:5-9. And again, I encourage you just go to that previous stream and go look at the specific comments that I responded to. Because I dropped the Greek, I dropped the Hebrew, I explain it, and just go study yourself. Don't believe me. So it says, and like, dude, it's like endless, right? So what Trinitarians actually use Philippians to support their point. Okay, so we're gonna read it, and I'm gonna expose this is a perfect example of the deception. I just want everyone to be chill. Like you shouldn't be trying to convince me in the chat because you're not going to convince me in the chat right now. If you want to come on and have a cordial conversation and we look through the scriptures together, that's fine. In the comments, I'm like, let's go through the scriptures together. People run away, delete their comments, ignore it, just repeatedly gaslight and ad hominem. What Christians? You guys are such good Christians. Okay, we're gonna go to Philippians 2. I think that's what it is, right? There we go. Okay, so here we go. They read this right here, King James, Philippians 2:6. So it's talking about Jesus right before this, right? Let's just read it. It says, hope you guys can see that. Here you go. Let this mind be in you. And if you guys are like really trying to defend it, why would you not just pay attention for a second? Just calm down and pay attention. We're getting really emotional. Okay. It says, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. Okay. It says the next verse, Philippians 2:6. It says, who being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God. Okay. Sounds like the Trinity, right? It sounds like he's saying Jesus thought it was not robbery to be equal to God. That's what the King James says. It clearly says it right there. We just read it, right? Who being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God. And this is the thing, you got to really like take your time with this stuff because it there's a lot to it, okay? So everyone just calm down. My intention is literally just to help, okay? Now look, it says this is the number one one of the number one. It's like the word was God, and then I and the Father are one, and then this one. They're like the top 3, okay? Now, everyone please pay attention because I'm making a point. It's not about the specific verse or anything like that. I'm making a much bigger point, okay? King James, by the way, in case you didn't know, King James was evil. In fact, at one point, King James' children was sick. His doctors couldn't heal him. He went to the surrounding like pagan cultures, got their doctors to heal his children. Then they got healed, and then a bunch of people got mad at King James for doing that. So then he brought them back after they helped him, and they were skeptical of helping him. He didn't trust him, but they believed him. They helped him. They helped his children. He brought them back once the people got mad and killed them. Tortured and killed them, bro. Okay, so he's not some arbiter of truth, just in case you didn't know. All right, now, anyway, the Trinity doctrine, you have the Council of Nicaea, right? That's really about like the Trinity is God, is Jesus God, right? That's a long time ago. So when the King James version's printed, whenever you have all these English versions, they already have the interpretation of the Trinity. So they're interpreting the script, not even necessarily with ill intent, trying to make it make sense within that understanding, and they're writing it in English that way. So King James says this right here. Jesus, who being in the form of God, thought it not to be robbery to be equal with God. Now, here's a basic question I have for you, okay? Let's do it like this. So, if it says, who being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God, isn't that a contradiction? So, he's in the form of God and thought it not robbery to be equal with God. So, he's in the form of God and he thought it not robbery to be equal with himself, God. What is that? How does that work? That's a contradiction. Now, let's get to the bottom of it, okay? Let's see what actually happened here. We're going to come down and we're going to read the original language. This is what was going on in the comment section, by the way. And this is where people just leave and they insult you some more. So here we go. Who existing in, you see the Greek here, it explains it, right? The form, okay, of God. Okay, a deity. And there's many different applications of this, right? You have like ruler, all kinds of stuff. Now watch it. You see that's Theou, okay? So being in the form of a deity, did not consider equality with THEO. Okay, so which one is which, right? Something to be grasped, meaning an object of desire. Okay, so what this literally says, look, he's saying that Jesus, who was in the form of a God, as it tells us there are many gods, and not the Father, the Almighty God. You know, again, you don't even understand. Many of the prophets were referred to as gods, dude. Okay, it's like how do you not know that? Okay, so it says right here. This is just an example. First of all, no, it's a paradox, not a contradiction. Okay, wow. But even beyond that, this is so bad. This is intentionally mistranslated, okay? And this is the point. Please pay attention if you want to know the truth, okay? It says, Jesus, who existing in the form of God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, meaning he did not desire to be equal with the Father, okay? He did not even desire to be equal with the God, dude. It's something he didn't even desire. He never desired it, okay? That's what it says. Now, what does KJV say again? It says, "Who being in the form of God did not consider it robbery to be equal with God." What does it actually say? That equality with God is not something to be grasped or desired. So why is it mistranslated? So it says Jesus didn't desire to be equal with God. And then King James says, he didn't consider it robbery to be equal with God, as if he's saying he had no problem. He thought, oh, it's fair to be equal with God. It's literally the opposite of what it says. Now let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is how you study the scriptures and get to the bottom of a matter and you find the truth. You see how they won't read the Greek, they'll ignore it. First of all, I already pointed out it's not a contradiction, it's a paradox. Come on, bro, right? It's like, oh, being in the form of God, he thought it wasn't robbery to be equal with God. What? That's ridiculous in and of itself. It shows you that's two different uses of the word God, objectively. But here is showing you even more that they changed it to mean the opposite of what it means. But let's get the full context. Let's keep going and see what the full context of the verse says. Okay, here's verse 7. But made himself, having taken the form of a servant, having been made in the likeness of men. This is a decently accurate translation. Come down here. And being found in the fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Okay. Okay. Wherefore God also hath highly exalted him. Wait, what is that? Wait, what does that mean? Wait. Okay. Therefore, God exalted him to the highest place and gave him the name above all names. Wait. Who gave him the name above all names? He gave him the name? It says, wait. So it says, it's mistranslated in King James to say that Jesus, being in the form of God, didn't consider it robbery to be equal with God. What it actually says is that Jesus, being like a deity or like we'll say divine ruler, just not the almighty creator, right? So Jesus being in a divine form, we'll say, or deity, uh, did not even grasp for or desire to be equal with God the Father. Didn't even desire it. Not something he desired or longed for. Rather, he humbled himself and became as that of a servant. And then it explains right here, right? It says, therefore, God exalted him and gave him the name above all names. Therefore, what do you mean therefore? Why? Because he humbled himself as a servant. So God he gave it to him, dude. Dude, he gave him the name, meaning he didn't have the name until he gave it to him, meaning that someone above him had to give him the name above all names. He had to give him the name. He gave him the name above all names. Let's keep going. What's going to say next? I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh, maybe the next one's going to prove the Trinity. Oh my gosh. And now here's KJV, that at the name of Jesus, every knee should bow of things in heaven and things in earth and things under the earth. Okay, fair enough. He is, of course, the high priest. So, and that every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father. Dude, the Bible verse. Listen, dude. The Bible verse that Trinitarians bring up to claim it proves the Trinity blatantly and objectively debunks the Trinity, and they leave all that end out of it and try to say it proves that he's God. It says, Jesus, who never longed to be equal with the Father, humbled himself as a servant. He was our Messiah, our master, which is what Lord means, by the way, master, our master. And because of this, the Creator, Father, gave him the name above all names. That's what it says. And it says that every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Now we're gonna let me come back down here because you see how long it takes to go through it all. And we're not gonna do a whole stream on it. That every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, Master, okay, to the glory or esteem, to the glory of God the Father. So the Father gave him his name above all names because he humbled himself as a servant for us, and then he's our Messiah, he's our master. The Creator then rewarded him and gave him the name above all names. Of course, unspoken other than above his name, because he's the Almighty, the Most High, gave him the name above all names as a reward to humbling himself as a servant, because he didn't even for a second long to be equal to the Father, rather came and humbled himself even further and trying to be equal with God. He humbled himself to come and be our Messiah and our master. He was rewarded with the name above all names, and that every knee will bow to get to the Father. It, literally, it says, again, it says, every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father. So why would it? I want you to soak it in. The Trinity, the pro Trinity position invokes this verse and says it proves the Trinity, and it says in KJV that he considered it not robbery to be equal with God, and it literally says that he considered it not even something to be grasped or longed for to be equal with God. Why have to lie, bro? Why do Globers have to lie? Because they're representing something that's not true. This is just one example, bro. It's just one example. So my point is, you see how it took a few minutes. We had to go through it. We had to go look at the actual, and we didn't even go through all of it, like all of the Greek, right? You have to go read it in context in the Greek, and you find out, dude, this is worse than Globers, dude. It's like you didn't just leave the part out, you changed it, you twisted it and changed it. And then here's the even bigger part, right? It's like, yo, okay. If you want to believe that, if you like, we didn't all like, if 300 people didn't just sit here live and see that objectively in the Greek it says the opposite of what it says in KJV, and it was twisted, and that you guys left the end of it out, which debunks Trinity, and we'll pretend that didn't happen, and you still want to believe that that is somehow a pro Trinity verse or whatever, you definitely shouldn't go around and say that people are going to go to hell and can't be saved because they don't believe what we just proved isn't true. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? And look, what's even funnier is like people, dude, they'll never look at it. There's so much pride here that they can't even look at it. They're just going to start gaslighting, insulting, and they're going to show their spirit and you're going to see their fruits. And what you have to do is just try to be like, I still love you. I know you keep on personally attacking me and insulting me and telling me that I'm antichrist and ripping me down and not addressing my actual arguments with good faith or treating me as a brother that just disagrees, and you're just tearing me down and then just try to show him love anyway. That's where it gets hard. Is that our responsibility is to like still love people, man. Is to love people even whenever they don't deserve it, seemingly in our carnal mind. So anyway. And this is just one of the verses, but I just want to show you. If you go, if you go to other translations, it'll even show you. Oh, how dare you? Look what English says. Though he was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped, something to be grasped, something to be grasped. Oh, King James, it's not robbery to be equal with God. What? Thing to be grasped, thing to be grasped, thing to be grasped, something to be exploited, to be used for his own advantage, a thing to be grasped. It's insane, dude. And as you get more and more into them, they get worse. So now we read what it really says: a thing to be grasped or desired, object of eager desire. Okay. So it's just crazy, man. It's crazy because this is just one example. If you go, I'm like, could I be wrong? Sure. You have some home run verse I don't know? Sure. Let's see it. And I was responding to everyone's verses. I was just literally live time going and looking at the Greek, looking at the Hebrew. Every single time it was like that. The Greek and the Hebrew debunk it every time. It's just like flat earth. You hear something that they claim proves the globe, you're like, well, I've never heard that. That's crazy. Am I wrong? You go look into it. It always ends up being evidence for flat earth because it's the truth, dude. And the truth doesn't fear investigation. It doesn't require men apologists. It doesn't require you do backflips and say, "Oh, it's a paradox. Oh, you just can't understand it." Right? And I'm not saying that the Trinity couldn't be true because I don't understand it. That would be an appeal to incredulity. Something can't be true because I don't understand it. No, it's that the scriptures say that's not true. That's what it's just a little cherry on top that it obviously is awful. And additionally, because it's completely contradictory, paradoxical, and doesn't work at all. It violates the law of a non-contradiction. It's illogical. The creator is not illogical. So, and like I said, I'm gonna do a whole Trinity stream, and a bunch of people are saying, "Oh, I need someone to." Dude, you guys get together, okay? And you tell me who the best person there is to debate the Trinity. You go get your best person. I probably gonna be a Glober, ironically, but go get your best person. You guys tell me who you think the best person is to articulate the most accurate position of the Trinity. Okay, you pick them out. Seminary, all kinds of stuff. I'm just Austin, bro. This isn't what I specialize in, and I will debate any of them 1v1 with a fair moderator, thousands of people watching, whatever it is. You pick it out. Since there's always an excuse. Oh, well, yeah, you destroyed the Glober, but the Glober wasn't defending the globe right. You can't defend the globe right. So you pick them out, and we'll have like. And I guess the reason I always end up getting worked up, so I need to chill again, is like I just start reading the chat and I start getting like low key. Honestly, I kind of get triggered, so I need to chill because you can't let other people get you worked up. You got to have control over yourself. Um, I've asked for a debate for many years, still waiting for one. Yeah, good luck, bro. And honestly, what's so funny is just like Jack says, is like First John debunks modern Christianity throughout the whole thing. Let's just skip that part of it. Let's not talk about that. And my point is, I still love you, bro. Please stop ridiculing people and tell them that they can't be saved. That's literally what the Pharisees and Sadducees did, bro. Um, let's see here. Like I said, I'm gonna do a whole stream on. Wow, 22. That sucks. Uh, on the Trinity. How dare you? Alright, North says I should check this out. And the glory which thou gavest me, I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one. I don't actually know the context of this. But who gave it to him? Oh, how dare you? Oh, shocker. What a shocker. That they all be one as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee. and that they also may be one in us, and that the world may believe that thou hast sent me." He sent him, but he is God. And the glory which thou gavest me, I have given them. Wow. So the same glory that Yeshua has, he's given us. That's crazy. I guess we're God now, that they may be one, even as we are one. So we can be in the same position as the Messiah with the relationship with the Creator, according to the Messiah. But no, people on YouTube chats know more than the Messiah. So break down Fridays in modern day debate. No, not on this street. And yeah, I just don't want to get too into it. I guess is kind of the thing. It's like I can see this real fast, but it's like, look, I love you guys, and I know a lot of people. They're like, "Well, this is intense. I can't handle all this." A lot of people they just want to figure out what's going on, and it's like it deters them to see like such vitriolic hatred, intense like insults, and like all these complex talk over each other, talk fast, get worked up. Like they're like, okay, you Christians stay over there, and I'm gonna do my thing. You guys are tripping, and it's just, and then they go read the comments. It's just people like viciously insulting me personally. Austin, you're really, really good at debates when it comes to flat Earth, and you're really good at doing research. But when it comes to this, you didn't do any research and you suck at debate. It's like, yo, dude, you just sound ridiculous. Jim Bob would be strong on the Trinity with you can debate him on his channel, your channel, or Crucible. Yeah, I may debate him. You guys think that that Jim Bob will win the debate against me about the Trinity? Because I'm not gonna have a philosophical, ontological conversation about what you think you can make the creator. We're gonna read the scriptures in the original languages. That's what we're gonna do. So anyway, but my point is, look, I used to believe in it. Again, I went to Trinity Christian Academy. I did a stream not too long ago. I showed you guys. It's like my point is because I'm not gonna talk about this Trinity over and over. Like my point is, um, I had to humble myself and admit I was wrong about that, and it's all good. And I think that that is actually what's important. And so when people run around acting like they have all the answers and that there's not stuff that they can learn or maybe be like, "Whoa, I learned new information. Maybe I have to update what I understood," then they're wrong. They're automatically lying. Anyone that claims they have all the answers is lying. And someone was talking about the meat thing. It's like, eventually it was shown to me like, oh, like the instructions weren't thrown out, and that means instructions or directions. It doesn't mean law. Like, oh, we got to control you, law. And I'm like, wow, I shouldn't be eating pork. I shouldn't be eating seafood. Like, I think the creator knows if he says it, if he doesn't even define that as food, then I shouldn't be eating it. And then just the same thing, the way that Globers are like, when you have to defend a lie, you have to lie. So it's like, oh, in Acts, Peter was given a vision that said that we can eat whatever we want to. And literally, the vision that Peter was given is interpreted later on in the same book. And it says it's about people and how the creator's not a respecter of persons. And they still will turn around after that's shown. The scriptures interpret the vision saying it's not about food. And then they'll say it is about food because I want to eat bacon. It's like, I don't know, man. It's just weird. And my point is like, bro, I don't try. Do I go around like, I don't go around saying, oh, you don't follow the Torah, you're going to burn in hell. I don't do anything like that. I don't say like, oh, you're going to go to hell. You don't believe what I think. Like, oh, you believe in the Trinity, you're going to go to hell. I don't do that. I think it's dangerous, but like, I don't do that, bro. Like, I just encourage you to pray, fast, seek the truth. Like, I'm not, I can't judge you, bro. I don't judge your salvation or anything like that. Like, that's far beyond me. I love you. I just want the best for you. And I have a pure intention and vibration of trying to help other people out. That's the truth. Hey, Austin, great stream, and thank you for sharing your testimony. Sean said to contact him so y'all can do a stream. Also, folks, go watch Kingdom of Context. Go to playlist and start at new subscribers and hit the debates playlist. Powerful. Yeah, I agree. Kingdom of Context is awesome. And thank you for the very generous $50 super chat. Run Boston Bear, always helping a brother out. Thank you so much. Forever Quitania, thank you for the $20 super chat. Much love. I hope I didn't miss more. Let me see. Hey, man, I just want to say thanks for all your hard work trying to help people find the truth. You've helped me more than you could imagine. God bless. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat and the kind words. And that is truly why I do this, even though it sucks sometimes. Thank you. I'm gonna say Space Casey. I don't know. Thank you so much. Like I pinned the comment. Like I knew, dude, it was gonna be like such a headache, and people were gonna spiral. And I'm unsubbing. You're the Antichrist. You're going to hell. Oh, I'm not supporting anymore. I'm not following you. Oh, but it's whatever. Austin's lost his way. Oh, Jaren got to him. All this crazy stuff, bro. It's so weird. It's like, I mean, I guess in a way it's good. You get to see people's true colors, man. Keep the faith in Yeshua. Trevor, thank you for the $10 super chat. Sorry for taking so long to get to it. Yeah, of course. Yeshua is the Messiah and the high priest, our mediator, our atonement. I love your story, man. Thanks for sharing. No problem. Boaz, Mucklestone, thank you so much for the super chat and the kind words and support. I think we're caught up. Oh, how dare you. Patty the Flatty 499. I might have already read it, but thank you for the $5 super chat if I missed it. Beautifully put. Dear Lord, help me apply discipline to my convictions. Thank you, Jordan Huddleston. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Yeah, that phrase will like forever be ingrained in my brain because it like changed my life. But and then yeah, don't listen to negativity in the chat. Preach on, brother. We hear you. Thank you so much, T Baggins. $5 super chat. I had a similar experience stopping eating pork in patience. Much props. It's not easy, and those who haven't, unfortunately, don't get. We aren't judging. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Michaela Glenn, for $5 super chat. And that is the craziest part is like we're not like trying to judge people. We're just trying to show them like what we discovered. More and more, the Father is with you. Did you turn up the brightness a lot? What state did you decide to live in? Dude, the lights went off. How long has my background been off? You guys told me. You might have told me, to be honest. There we go. I didn't turn up the brightness. I don't. No, I don't think. I do have like some white screens up, so it'll make the screen brighter. Nah, I didn't. I think that the lights are on the same setting. Yeah, they are. What state did you decide to live in? South Carolina for now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like strongly considering Florida. I like that a lot of truthers live here. I also really like the idea of being able to grow fruit year round. I think that might have been eaten. Oh, how dare you? Whatever. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Okay, we're caught up, and now we have another one. Love your work. Just a suggestion: you should read the Quran and see if it changed your perspective. By the way, Hebrew was invented in the 19th century. I don't agree with that. I don't agree that the Hebrew was invented in the 19th century. I've heard this idea, but I don't agree with it. I thank you for the $5 super chat, Bruce Banner, 7530, even higher. And yeah, I haven't fully read the Quran, but I've read quite a bit of it. I think the Quran is grossly misrepresented. It does say Yeshua is the Messiah and that he'll come at the end and fight the Antichrist and that he did stuff that Muhammad couldn't do. And technically speaking, they're completely right about that. And of course, he comes and he rolls over, and that's when he's Messiah. And he's our high priest. There are some crucial differences. The Quran is grossly misrepresented, and at least they seem way more based with how they actually take it seriously and put their money where their mouth is now. That's kinda how I feel. I don't have like, I think that if someone's genuinely seeking the truth and humbling themselves to the creator, uh, if they're currently in Islam or whatever, that they're fine. That's what I think. I'm not the arbiter of truth, but if they're conforming to the tradition of men, and that's why they're Muslim and they're never gonna even change or consider it, then I think that's the problem. They think that their mosque told them the right answers when they were 5 and it can't be questioned and everything is right, and that's incorrect. But of course, that came 600 years after Yeshua. So, all right, $20 super chat. I would say talk to Jay Dyer. He's an Eastern Orthodox Christian and the best man I know in regards to the Trinity. He was big in helping me understand it. Also, he's open to geocentrism, so it could be a fruitful discussion. Okay, cool. Marshall, I'm gonna say Stanghelanili, sorry, but Marshall, thank you for the $20 super chat. Um, yeah, of course, I'm open to talk to him. I don't really know much about who that is, but, um, I will say if someone's like a heliocentric globe proponent, me disagreeing with like this crux of their current uh theology is not gonna help with that. You know, but it's hard. It's hard, man. It's a lot like flat Earth, bro. When you start to find out that you just it's like propaganda almost. You've just heard these certain phrases. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Where you just say it, right? You're like, like, "Oh, Jesus is God. Praise Jesus. Ask Jesus to come into your heart." Like, "Oh, he died on the cross for our sins. He is God. He came in human form for us." Jesus, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. They're all three one. It's like you just have heard the term, so you say it over and over, and it can be a lot to like have to swallow your pride and start re-examining the original language. Be like, "Whoa, maybe I'm wrong." Um, yeah, it's just like flat Earth, man. So I know it's like a really emotional thing, and that's why I don't try not to judge people for it, bro. It's just like I don't like when people claim that if you don't believe that, then you can't be saved when it's actually objectively refuted in the scriptures. Very generous donation. Thank you, Charlie, so much. Keep speaking from this truth scriptures. Big ups. What's it? Thank you so much, man. Thank you, Charlie. That was incredibly generous. So greatly appreciated. And thank you for the kind words. Will do. Will do. I have to speak the truth even though people are super mad at me right now, apparently. I want to know more. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Forever Quitania. There are compelling physical evidence in scriptures that support we are post-millennial reign. It's mind-blowing, just like flat Earth. I highly suggest you look into it. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Forever Quitania. I have looked into it. And that's one thing anyone that's honest, they can say, like, bro, I'm super open-minded, bro. If you come with some damning evidence the scriptures is wrong, like, I will hear you out and look into it diligently. Same thing with that. I looked into the millennial reign, already happening, and it doesn't work scripturally at all. It just doesn't work. It gets to where they basically say, "Oh, well, he didn't actually come. It's all metaphor. Everything is allegorical and metaphorical." No, it's not. Yeshua literally existed. So you start just getting like way off and this isn't a straw man. There's like 10 different interpretations of preterism is what it's called. But I actually did a conversation with that on Vader Bear's channel. Enclosed cosmology. Vader Bear, drop the name of your channel and your link or something. I don't remember exactly what it's called. Sorry, but yeah, like like who's the beast, and like, are you saying Yeshua came back and the whole world didn't see him? And where's he at now? It doesn't work. The millennial reign hasn't already happened. They weren't able to hide that he existed, but they were able to hide that he reigned in divine form on the earth for 1,000 years. Like, it doesn't work at all. And where's the New Jerusalem? Oh, it's inside you. It's like, no, it's not. It's not. They may have added 1,000 years though, by the way. I'm very open to that. There's some compelling evidence about that, especially like I don't know. I'm just super open to so much stuff. Like there seems like the Egyptian anthropology and historical timeline was super gravel. They may have added 1,000 years, based on a lot of the writings and stuff. And also, I don't know exactly where Egypt was. I think Egypt probably was over there. I think Eden was in North America. I think the Fertile Crescent is actually the Gulf of Mexico. I think that the Ark was made from gopher wood in Florida as of now. And I'm super adaptable. And then I think that it floated on the river or on the waters and then landed somewhere else. Um, and they may have added 1,000 years to history. But thank you for super chat. Go within to get out. Can you please explain the Hebrew translation of Deuteronomy 13:6 through 15, Deuteronomy 15:6, Genesis 27:29? To me, it's very problematic. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do for you, man, is take a screenshot of that, but I'm not gonna go all through the Hebrew of all those verses right now. But I know if Jack, thank you for the $5 super chat. I know that if Jack jumps on, he'll be happy to. Well, we can go through it on a stream. I can also email you stuff about it. I think you guys kinda gotta realize though, whew, like, I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm already getting flooded with NASA audits messages, bro. Like, I'm trying to work on the summit too. But yeah, I won't leave you hanging, and I took a screenshot. Michael Lyon, $50. Thank you so much. Very generous donation, brother. Thank you. I always support you, brother. I don't agree with religion, though. I know there's a creator. Keep pushing FE. Much love, brother. Yeah, no worries, man. I will always talk about the earth for sure, and the creator, 'cause it's necessary to see, and it's got to be the most important thing in all of existence. And I hate religion also, so I agree with you on that. I would, of course, disagree with you on just throwing um, the scriptures out entirely, maybe. But yeah, I don't like religion either. It sucks. Thank you for the very generous super chat, Michael Line. All right, cool. Gotta love the differences in super chats. Yeah, I know. That's why this place is so cool, and that's why I was so saddened by the response to the Christianity stream, because I just thought that we kind of pride ourselves on being able to have different opinions like adults on this channel. But I guess you live and learn. You'll need a team handling stuff eventually. I charge $30 an hour. LOL. Do you work really efficiently? And I can't even pay myself or my bills, so I can't pay anyone right now. Maybe one day. Oh, shout out to Adam. Adam did donate to NASA Audits PayPal, which I found out. I guess I set up as a business, and so it's this whole thing, and they're wanting me to give tax information. They're wanting to withhold the money till the first or whatever, but I'll just pull together whatever little money I have to cover it till they release it. So that's kind of a headache. But shout out to Adam for helping with that. And if I miss someone there, I'll check it out. I would like to see Bro Sanchez and Witsit talk about the Bible. That would be interesting. Yeah, I'm totally down to talk to Bro Sanchez about it. Totally down. I like Bro Sanchez. Your intelligence is unmatched. Short form clips of your streams would go viral. Highly suggest pushing Witsit clips it. Yeah, that is something that I also fell way behind on. Thank you for the very kind words. That's a very high compliment. Thank you, Spencer Connors, $5 super chat. Um, yeah, that's true. I don't know that it's true that like would go super viral, but I do think that that would be very beneficial. So I'm trying, man. It's just so hard to do everything, bro. It's just so hard, but I'm trying. Plus, like the baby also did kind of obviously throw a whole thing into the mix. We're getting used to the schedule with that, but my schedule's still messed up. Um, and this is a problem too, is like I would like for people to help me edit it out, and I'm sure some people maybe would, but I'm also very particular about how it's edited, and I think it needs to be really professional and look good. I don't want it like not looking good, I guess. So I'm open into having like outsourcing it to people. I can't pay you right now though, unfortunately. But yeah, if people would be able to help me professionally edit them or like yeah, that would be cool. I can try, but it's like I'm trying to put a presentation together for Schooling the Glovers. That's very high level. I'm trying to create different intro videos, trailer videos, different short clip videos explaining Mickle. So I have like all these ongoing projects. Trying to launch the website, trying to launch the summit, trying to launch my own website, trying to launch the app, trying to work on the summit app, trying to get all the speakers together, trying to get all the different people behind the scenes together for the summit, trying to get all the logos made, trying to get all the intros made. It's like trying to launch the different social media accounts for each one. It's just like that's just some of it, bro. So I'm trying. It would be awesome to have Gary Wayne, author of Genesis 6 Conspiracy, join you on a stream. I totally agree. It would be awesome. I still need to reach out to him. I think it would be awesome to have that dude speak at the summit, actually. I need to remember to reach out to him and see if he'll speak at the summit. And then maybe on my channel later. That dude just ladles gravy, bro. It's crazy. That dude just like just sweats gravy. P.S. Yeshua died at 33, not 33 yet under lie. Yeah, it does appear to be the case. I think a great time spending time with y'all. If you're leaving, run Boston Bear. Thanks for kicking it, and thank you for the generous support, brother. I did also create Witsit Gets It 2.0, by the way. I don't think you can even find it though if you go to YouTube. But I did that for backup. Witsit Gets It 2.0. Oh, if you go to my community posts, which I will always try to start posting stuff on the YouTube community, so just occasionally check it or try to get notifications. Also, what I found out is if you're commenting in the videos on the videos and stuff, chatting and then commenting below, that's gonna it's gonna show you the notifications more often. So there's that. But anyway, maybe you'll get a notification and see like my post. But I think I posted the Wits It Gets It 2.0 on my community post. Let me find it. Yeah, I did. But if you Google it, I mean, if you search it, you won't find it, but I'll drop it. Witsit Gets It 2.0. That'll be the backup channel. We also have Globebusters Activism, and we also have NASA Audits. And I may launch a couple more channels. It's like, oh, Austin, you want 7 subs from me? Yeah, 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 I do. Maybe Witsit clips it, but we'll see how it all goes. I'm gonna drop Witsit Gets It 2.0 in the chat. If anyone wants to sub, that'll be where we'll be on the backup. Say I get kicked off here, I'm off for 2 weeks or a month or whatever. We'll be streaming there and obviously rockfan.com/witsitgetsit. You can also look me up on Rumble, and we'll get that rocking out here soon. Um, yeah. Okay. Bruce Banner 7530 even higher $5 super chat. In my opinion, the Old Testament God is not the father of Jesus. Many examples of this, like when Yahweh can't find Adam in the garden. My God knows where I am always. I don't know that it was that he couldn't find him. That's a misunderstanding and mistranslation. So, um, yeah, and his name, in my opinion, isn't Yahweh. I'm not like I don't freak out about that, but I just say Yah. But Uh, yeah, I fundamentally disagree with you, and if you look at the Hebrew of Genesis, it doesn't say that, and almost all of Genesis was mistranslated, which is again very crazy. But thank you for the $5 super chat, and I encourage you to just keep thinking for yourself, man. You're good. Just keep thinking for yourself, but just diligently research the original languages and figure out the bottom of it, and always be open to adapting your position. And just try to be selfless and try and talk to the creator and live for him and ask him what to do and ask him to reveal truth to you and that's what's important. And try to be kind to other people and don't, you know, don't, cast judgment on their soul. Greg MC, thank you for the $5 super chat. Difference in super chats actually meant the difference in the statements connected with money. Most authentic, but surely some are deception on money. Sorry, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying, but I thought you just meant like the differences in the opinions that were coming through the super chats. You meant the difference in the amounts. I don't. Um, Either way, thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. If you want to clarify it underneath your super chat, you don't have to pay to say it, and I'll remember to read your chat, Greg. I want to know more. $5 super chat in the Sefer Bible. After it says Yahuwah, it says Elohim. Why is that? Thanks for all you do. Uh, Thank you. Now these are these deep, profound things that not everyone agrees on for sure. Like even people that I agree with on a bunch of stuff. And I could be completely wrong about some of these answers, okay? I don't find any shame in that. I don't think that's a big deal, but personally, I think this is what I think, okay? I think that the first thing that the creator made was Yahshua. And you have the word making stuff, and you have Yahshua made. And I think that's actually what Proverbs 8:22 is about. And I think that maybe that's what our image is. And could it be more than that? Could it be other entities, different angels, type deities, and stuff like that? Sure. People disagree. People disagree with me, but that's what I currently think. So it's like you see how there's some truth, at least from my current position. It's like, yeah, of course he said he was before Abraham. He was. He was the first thing ever created. That's what I currently think. And I'm open to being wrong. I just know that the Trinity is not true, and it says that the Father, there's one true creator, the Father, he's supreme over all things, he has the authority over all things, he has the authority over his son. When it says that the Father and I are one, it's just like me and Kai are one now, okay? Kai and I came together as one, okay? Now, Kai isn't literally me. In fact, Kai isn't equal to me because I have authority in our marriage. Now I have to love her like Christ loved the church. I have to be willing to lay down my life for her. I have to protect and provide for her and Aaliyah. I have to respect her. I have to be honest, right? but I have authority as the man. So we aren't literally equal. I have authority over Kai, but we became one. Same word is used in the scripture for the Father and I are one. What does that mean? We are one in agreements. We are in agreement. We are in one in purpose. We are in unity, right? We have the same goal, the same purpose. We are in agreement. That's why the husband and the man come together as one, right? So surely that, I mean, I don't know how people don't understand that, but yikes, man. People being so judgmental, man. And I do wanna point this out though, like, you know, as I'm saying, like, I think that the important thing is being sincere and praying and seeking for the truth. Just ask the creator, like, "Yo, reveal yourself to me," etcetera. I know that's real because I've grown so much from when he was acting directly in my life, and I don't think I would have burned in hell forever because some weirdo Catholic priest that wants people to kiss his hand said so, or someone else on YouTube says so. When I was still confused about a lot of the doctrines that I used to believe in, and I was confused about what all the Bible says, I was sincere. He was acting in my life, and that's what it means. It means it's like be sincere, like try to find the truth. But this is the main thing I do want to point out. Oftentimes, that type of talking point gets taken and people use it to justify being complacent and willfully ignorant and turning their head from the information or not looking into the information further or humbling themselves and asking the creator to show them more or trying to grow and really figure it out and turning their head and being willfully ignorant and being stagnant and not consistently trying to grow and pursue the truth and adapt to whatever it is and be humble enough to be like, oh, I'm learning more as I go. Oh, I was wrong about this. That's when you're in dangerous water. And personally, if you wanna get really deep here, well, maybe we'll end the stream with this. You wanna get really deep about some things that I think that basically what you're doing is subconsciously in life, you don't even realize you're doing it consciously, subconsciously what life's about is you're making the decision to either perpetually exist forever or to cease to exist. Because if you have a relationship with the creator and you submit to him, you're willing to live for him, and you just wanna find out what the truth is and speak for him, and you choose to exist forever. If you choose to deny that, um you have chosen not to exist. You've chosen to cease to exist. You don't burn in hell forever. That's not what I think at all. Um, and something else I think, um, because this profound idea was thrown around, the idea that you judge yourself, and I'm like, most Christians would spiral when you say you judge yourself. I think that's partially true, though. I think that our subconscious is our record that will be used to judge against us. It's like the most incredible, impeccable recording device ever to exist, your subconscious, because you know you have that inner dialogue. It's like you choose to do something wrong, you know something's wrong, but you talk yourself into it. Like, give you an example, it's like, oh, well, you went to the club and then this girl was like dancing half naked and then she had a buzz and you had a buzz and you decided to take her home, even though you knew that she was not someone you'd ever want to be with, and you slept with her, and you knew she was going to be emotionally involved and that she liked you, but you didn't care. But you convince yourself, like, oh, she would have done it with someone else if it wasn't for me. She's basically asking for it. She does this anyway. Oh, well, we both got something out of it, whatever. It's like you convinced yourself that it was wrong. The subconscious makes a record of all of that. I think that once the life ends, if you will, and you're judged, I think that your subconscious is just like played for very crude terms. It's like press play on your subconscious and the perfect record is played. You can't dispute it. You can't debate it. There's nothing to debate. You're in court and like there's the objective evidence. It's your own subconscious judging you, as in it's like, here's what he thought about this. Here's how he went back and forth. Here's how he chose to do what was wrong. Da, 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 da. You see what I'm saying? I think that the creator judges you, but I think that it's your subconscious record that judges you, and that's actually kind of deep if you really take that in. Anyway, I think that's like really profound and also very, very simple if you think about it. Like this whole like some people don't have an inner voice. That's a lie. I don't believe that at all. Everyone alive does. Um, Austin, have you looked into Marty Leeds' work on Gnosticism? Yeah, some of it. I don't. I mean, obviously, don't fully align with Marty on everything that he thinks, but I think Marty's a cool guy. I'm not big in, like, judging people and tearing them down and throwing stones and being like, "I have it all figured out, they don't." That's just not the spirit of the creator that I serve, man. I think that you're supposed to be really, like, bold and not bend and be like, "This is the truth." Um, but I just don't like I'm being reiterative. I just don't like them like, "You're going to hell," or like, "You can't be saved unless you believe what I believe. The Catholics gave it to me, but I'm not Catholic, but the Catholic gave it to me, but actually I think different than the Catholics, and, oh, Jesus is God, but Jesus is not God," and it's like, "Shut up." Yeshua was the first created because he was central to his purpose. Yah calls things that be not as though they were. Romans 4:17, Isaiah 46:10, in my opinion. Yeshua was first created because he was central to his purpose. God calls things that be not as though they were. Not sure exactly what you're trying to say at the end there, but I'm gonna take a screenshot of your verses. Like I said, I'll do streams once a week where I break down a certain subject with all the verses. This is what would be good. If you guys want to go to my Telegram, t.me. Actually, I haven't made it public yet, I guess, because I don't know the stream link. But anyway, or you can email me and put Trinity verses and email me every single verse you think supports the Trinity. Okay. If you start sending me a bunch of stuff that really doesn't, I'm gonna ignore your email. But send me an email with all the verses, and I'm gonna debunk all of them because I want to know the truth. So if there's something you can send me that will prove I'm wrong, I will gladly admit it. Jesus is not the Father. Yeah, of course. Look, here's the deal. Everywhere else in the history of mankind, the Trinity in religion has been three gods. Okay. Everywhere. It's called tritheism. That's what Trinity is. You have like it's all over the place. So go look at the Greek pantheism. Go look at all the stuff. You have triune gods, three gods everywhere. The Godhead of three deities. There's always three individual deities, three gods. That is a pagan polytheistic belief. Tritheism. Christianity is the one exception where modern Christianity claims, oh, it's not about three gods. Whether you believe the Trinity or not, what I just said is objective. Christianity is the one exception that claims that the Trinity is not about three different gods. So it's not about three different gods. It's about three different persons. Okay, but they're each God. So the Holy Spirit's God, the Father's God, Jesus is God, but it's not three gods that make up the Godhead. It's three persons, but they're not people that make up. And of course, the real gravy is a lot of people, even people that have seen through the Trinity, they think that the Holy Ghost and the Holy Spirit is distinctly different from the Creator or something. No, the Creator is a spirit, is in spirit form. How does a spirit have a spirit? So Jack helped break that spell for me. And like one thing you'll see on this channel is I'll evolve what I think a lot. I think that's perfectly fine. I think a lot of people are fragile, and because they're religious, they have traditions of men, they have emotion involved, so they can't be logical. They can't change their mind. They can't adopt new positions or adapt as they learn new info. They have to be right about everything they say right now. And like, dude, I can change my mind tomorrow. So it's a very freeing position for me. I've decided to do YouTube. Actually talked into it. And one of the main reasons was because I kinda felt led to, and now I definitely do, and I felt led to talk about this and give my testimony. I felt led to talk about the other night. This channel isn't going to become just about the scriptures all the time. That's not what this channel is about. It's about all kinds of truths. I'm gonna be doing an awesome Schooling the Glober stream soon. I'm gonna be doing, having people guests on for all kinds of different subjects, going on different shows, going on different debates still. I'll be talking about dragons soon and, like, just ladling gravy. We have all kinds of stuff I want to talk about. It's not this channel is not just about the Bible every day at all, and you guys know that. But I did feel led to bring it up, and I do now feel led to talk about it once a week. And if people can't handle it, don't watch it, bro. Because the truth is, I think that maybe I'm striking a chord with you. You know that I'm speaking truth right now, and it's like it's easier to keep your current position. I get it. I would much rather have to adapt my position and be open to the truth. But I, I'm not your judge. I can righteously judge though. I can say that screaming, cussing, personally attacking, gaslighting, tearing people down, thinking you're better than everyone by saying that you know that if you don't believe exactly what you believe in the way that you interpret it, then you're going to hell, you're going to burn forever, and just like getting off on this like, I have salvation, you don't, you must do what I say. Like you power trip over other people by telling them that they're not safe. That's evil. If you lie to do that, it's even more evil. So, I can righteously judge that. That's evil. You hurt a child, that's evil. Pedophilia, evil, you know? NASA audit's about to rock the globe, LOL. traveling to fish the Tennessee River for big cats from Georgia next week. How did you ever leave Tennessee?" Ryan Roberts, thank you for the $5 super chat. I left Tennessee to go on tour, and it kinda just happened. I grew up in West Tennessee. I like East Tennessee more. I didn't wanna stay in West Tennessee. I wanted to go to East Tennessee, actually, because I agree with you that Tennessee's pretty dope, but, couldn't find anywhere to stay. So, now I'm all over the place. Do I stay in South Carolina? Do I go to East Tennessee? Do I go to Florida? I don't know. Alright, cool. This has been I think I'm about to wrap it up. And I just wanna point this out, like, dude, it's very telling to everyone if, say, you bring up a certain verse, and then I go get the actual Hebrew and the Greek, I respond, and then you ignore it, or you delete your comment, or you just respond with ad homs, or you just blatantly twist and misrepresent what I say, or you skate past it, right? What do you think people think when you do that? Or you have to strawman the position. Like no one was ever claiming work salvations. You keep saying, everyone keeps saying, work salvations, you're a Jew. It's like, what? No one claimed that. You can't earn salvation by works. No, works are just proof of the fact that you're sincere and want to follow the creator. You'll know them by their fruits. This is basic logic a 5-year-old can understand. If someone is actually good, actually sincere, no man is good, but is truly trying to do what's right with pure intention and trying to live for the creator, you're gonna be able to tell. They're gonna be honest. You can trust them with your money. You can trust them like when they give you your word. You can be like, okay, look, oh, where we did an investment, we both made 5 grand a piece. Okay, well, they can send you the 10 grand on, and you can give me the five when you get to it. Oh, well, you just take the expenses out of it. I can trust you. Like when people have good intentions and they're pure, like pure with their intentions, you know that they have certain types of behavior, certain types of fruit. You can trust them. This isn't like a foreign concept. Okay, so all it is like if there's a certain way that is to live righteous and that would make the creator happy, the least I can do when he blessed me with the beautiful gift that is life, beautiful gift that is a wife and a child that's she's so incredibly beautiful and awesome. And when she smiles, I just like want to tear up and I can't even grasp how incredible it is to be a father of the beautiful little girl that I have and just life in general and how blessed I am and how much I've grown and how much he's been patient with me and how life is such a blessing just to be so free and be able to make your own mind up and how beautiful the world is. And then I got to see all the beautiful places in the United States and you go see Niagara Falls, you see the mountains, you see Yellowstone, you see Florida, you see all these places and you live in an incredibly beautiful gift. Life is an incredibly beautiful gift. And the least I could do to show gratitude for that is just live in a way that glorifies the creator or in like righteously, just like if you have a child that grows up, they could show honor, they could honor you by living righteously, having purpose, standing for the truth. Like that would make you proud. And that's the point. It's like the least I can do is try to be grateful and try and keep moving towards it. Maybe try to help wake other people up to how much he loves them and how religion sucks and misrepresent him and he hates that. Um, that's why I do it. That's the truth. That's what I understand about the Torah. Okay, so it's not anything other than that. You got a million straw mans you want to build up and lie about. It's what like, dude, lying isn't gonna ever hurt me. It's never gonna get me, dude. Do you guys not realize that I've had anti-flat earthers stalk me for 4 straight years with vicious, hateful lies? I'm pretty desensitized to people lying about me. So sure, it stings a little bit different when it's people that was supposed to follow my channel, that they were legit, that they were truthers, they found out where we live, so they know there's a creator. They know that there's moral accountability. They know that if you convince someone in the chat that you're right by lying and twisting, the creator sees all that. So whatever. I still love you guys. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. We'll get back to some pretty dope stuff. Again, I'll show this one more time. You can go to auditnasa.com. Boom. And you can come down here if you want to become a NASA auditor. A lot of people have already signed up. I'm trying to get to you guys. There's just a lot. Bang. Got your resume if you want to. Not terrible. I am actually looking through the resumes. explain with some specificity what you think you could help do or what you wanna do. I think I'd be really good at doing email audits. I think I'd be good at phone audits. I'm good at talking to people. I think I live close to this NATS facility. I'll go in person. I'm really good at looking through footage. I have time I wanna invest, look through footage. That would be helpful either way. We're gonna get you into the private Telegram chat. You can also go right here, please sign up, and then you will be able to, be a part of the newsletter, which will give you updates as to where we are. So there you go. You can support the cause here. Like I said, none of that will actually go to us until it won't be even be released till like the first. And unfortunately, I set it up as a business. What an idiot! But you live and learn. I might end up updating that somehow or updating it to take payment straight on the website, but we'll work it out. Because if I'm not making any money on this, I can't afford to pay taxes on it. I guess I can put money aside from whatever does come in, right, to pay the taxes. But all right, cool. You guys get it. I'm not gonna do a nonprofit. That's a grabbler government trick. Anyway, NASAaudits.com or actually auditnasa.com for NASA audits, and should be super cool. I did that stream last night. So guys, just keep jumping into the mailing list. I think we should have way more people on the mailing list than we do. I'm not gonna be flooding you with a bunch of emails or something. I'm gonna send you the newsletter. Trust me, the newsletter is pretty dope. I put time into it, and I'll send you only important updates. I'm not gonna be like spamming you with emails to try to get you to buy something. Like that's not what this is. And I, you know, sign up if you're gonna actually click on it because it'll start like not sending them out and stuff if you don't actually open them. But well, I can't really just make mods just when someone wants to drop a link. I'll temporarily make you a mod. There you go. But I'm like wrapping the stream up, man. 2 hours, 15 minutes. I got work to do tonight. But if you want to drop the link, I can try to see what it is real fast. Nope, you'll have to try again. You should be able to drop a link though. Yeah, there you go. Well, where did you go? Like took the whole thing away. It's crazy. Sorry, I love you, but I gotta take your mod away. Just because then everyone will start doing that. Hey man, can I be a mod so I can send a chat? Do you know how fallacious what that dude just did is? Like, oh my gosh, that's such a fallacy, bro. Basic fallacies, man. Let me reshare so I can make it. Yeah, bro. Just oh, well then it must be true. Whatever doctrine you've decided on must be true. People have come up with it before. Oh. I don't even know who's saying what, by the way. I mean, I'm assuming that guy is just depending on other people based on his reaction. But anyway, here we go.
Jesus teaches in the Gospel of John that the only true God is the Father. If the only true God is the Father, then Jesus cannot be God.
So if you think this verse is a problem for the Trinity, it shows you have not studied the sacred doctrine of the Trinity. The doctrine of the Trinity was developed by building on what Scripture taught, and coherent models of the Trinity recognize the headship or monarchy of the Father. If we just look at the form of Trinitarianism that I hold to, which is monarchical Trinitarianism, it states that there are three entities within the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Spirit, each of whom share one.
I gotta say real fast. Oh, so there's different versions of the Trinity, but if you don't believe in it, then you can't be saved. But there's different versions of it, and no one can understand it. It's ununderstandable. But if you don't understand it, you can't be saved. But anyway, let's continue on. Like, basically, all we've got is a bunch of rhetoric. This dude brings up a Bible verse and says what the verse says. This guy says rhetoric and appeals to consensus and authority. Yeah.
Divine nature and thus are equally termed God. The one God in the nominal sense is numerically identical to one of the entities, the Father, who is the sole ultimate source of the Son and the Spirit. According to
Wait, can
monarchical
you guys
Trinity.
not hear him? Can you guys not hear him? Can I get verification that you guys can hear the video? Verification that you guys can hear the video. You probably couldn't hear it at first, but you might can hear it now, right? Okay, cool. We'll start it back over.
Trinitarianism.
I'm here now.
Oh, I think that the fly flew around him while I was lying. Dude, guys, I just want you guys to know, look, I love you guys. And if you've watched me debate anything, you know that like I'm as humbly as possible, I have a gift to debate. And am I wrong about things? Absolutely. I'm going to debate the Trinity and against a big name that's supposedly can debate it the best that they can. And I'm going to bury it, dude. I'm going to bury it. So I want you to have a moment of silence for the Trinity. And I want you to take my word for what it's worth. I will bury it. And it is because I love you. Okay? One of my good friends, Clay, on Discord, was pro Trinity. He had a long conversation with me and North. He came back very humbly the next day. He said, Austin, I had to thank you, man. I wasn't being as a child. I thought I had it all figured out. Thank you so much for opening my eyes to it. Jesus is not God. He is not the Father. He is the Son of the Father, and the Father has the ultimate authority. And it like made me tear up, bro. It was such a beautiful moment. Okay, that's why I do this. All right, let's listen to these guys.
Now to debunk Christianity in less than a minute.
Gee, I wonder if any theologians have addressed this issue over the course of our 2,000-year history.
It's like the stupidest argument I've ever heard. It's like the Earth's a globe we've known for 2,000 years.
Jesus teaches in the Gospel of John that the only true God is the Father. If the only true God is the Father, then Jesus cannot be God.
So if you think this verse is a problem for the Trinity, it shows you have not studied the sacred doctrine of the Trinity. The doctrine of the Trinity was developed by building on what Scripture taught, and coherent models of the Trinity recognize the headship or monarchy of the Father. If we just look at the form of Trinitarian...
Someone said, Barry, that's angry talk. It's just a word I use. I'm not angry, but I'm just letting you guys know that what I mean is I'm going to be very thorough. I'm giving you guys a heads up. I'm going to be very, like, almost to an annoying degree, I'm going to be very thorough. I'm going to make sure I don't strawman anything. I'm going to go through every verse that's claimed to support the Trinity. When I say bury it, that's what I meant. And personally, as I currently feel, I think it's dangerous. I think it's cocky. I think it's used to condemn people to hell. And I think it needs to be exposed. I think it's what pushes people further away from the Creator than almost anything else in the world. That's what I mean by bury. So I'll try to take your criticism to consider the word, but that's what I meant. Moving on.
Was developed by building on what Scripture taught, and coherent models of the Trinity recognize...
Sacred doctrine, by the way, guys, do you know what sacred means? Sacred's like, oh, it's sacred. It can't be questioned. It can't be touched. It's a doctrine, which is the belief system of men, the interpretation of men. It's a sacred doctrine. That's exactly what it is. You're correct.
It's the headship or monarchy of the Father. If we just look at the form of Trinitarianism that I hold to, which is monarchical Trinitarianism, it states that there are three entities within the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Spirit, each of whom share one divine nature and thus are equally termed God. The one God in the nominal sense is numerically identical to one of the entities, the Father, who is the sole ultimate source of the Son and the Spirit. According to monarchical Trinitarianism, the Father is the sole ultimate unsourced source of everything else, and thus possesses a specific priority within the Trinity and reality as a whole.
Okay, so this is a rare Trinity belief, and you're not saying that they're co-equal. So they're not co-equal. One of the main problems is that this is a gravy, but there is no like Holy Ghost or Holy Spirit. You don't have a spirit of a spirit. You have the spirit of Yah. Like he put Gideon on. Like you have the spirit of Yah. Moving on. And this is another thing too. Somebody's like, straw man. It's like you have like 50 different interpretations of the Trinity, and you guys contradict yourselves. Like even when you try to explain it to me, you just start contradicting yourself. You violate the law of non-contradiction so much that I get a headache.
In other words, in line with John 17:3, the Father is the only person that possesses aseity and is the ultimate source of the Son and the Spirit. The Son and the Spirit.
Oh, so the Father's the ultimate authority, and he had to give authority to the Son, and he knows things that the Son doesn't know, and that the Son humbly says you must go to the Father for salvation, and that you have to go through the high priest or the intercessor for atonement to the actual person that gives you salvation. Interesting.
Are eternally generated by the Father, but they are still of the same substance. So they are God in a predicative sense. But their source is the Father, making him the only true God, being that he is the only person that possesses aseity. Dr. Joshua Sijuwati even uses verses like John 17:3 and John 20:17 to support his model of monarchical Trinitarianism. And this concept seems to have been taught in the early church, as John Zazilus said, among the Greek fathers, the unity of God, the one God, and the ontological principle or cause of the being and life of God does not consist in the one substance of God, but in the hypostasis, that is, the person of the Father. The one God is not the one substance, but the Father, who is the cause both of the generation of the Son and the procession of the Spirit.
All right, I gotta address the misunderstanding here. So the Holy Spirit came upon the believers in Acts, not God the Father. If God came upon them, then they would have burned up and died. Okay, okay. You have the Spirit of the Creator. Okay, you have the Spirit of the Creator. Holy means set apart. Well, yeah, there's many spirits. It's the set apart spirit. It's the spirit of the Creator, which is what holy means. It means set apart. The set apart spirit. It's set apart from the rest of the spirits. It's the Spirit. And by the way, the Trinity, like Trinity people are going to want to agree with this guy. Everything you guys have been saying to me and in the chat disagrees with this guy, by the way. And this is just double speak. It's basically saying, oh, well, only the Father has all the authority, so he is God, but at the same time, Jesus still is God. It's just blatantly a contradiction.
And of course, if anti-Trinitarians would read just past verse 3, they would see Jesus also said, "And now, Father, glorify me in your own presence with the glory that I had with you before the world existed," confirming that Jesus pre-existed his birth and had some special
So, Iron Horse, you said, how can anything be set apart? What does that mean? What do you mean, how can anything be set apart? Like, we're supposed to be set apart from the world. Us as true earthers looking for the truth of where we live, we're set apart from the normal glober that just doesn't think for themselves. Truthers are set apart from the normies, if you want to call them that. It's being set. How can something be set apart? There's a bunch of spirits in the spirit realm, right? Spirit entities, and the creator is the spirit of Yah is set apart from those other spirits. What do you mean?
Trinitarians would read just past verse 3, they would see Jesus also said, "And now, Father, glorify me in your own presence with the glory that I had with you before the world existed," confirming that Jesus pre-existed his birth and had some special glory with the Father. Craig Keener says, if any ambiguity remains concerning Jesus' identity in 17:3, it vanishes in 17:5, which affirms Jesus' pre-existence with the Father in glory. Jesus is not paralleled here primarily with Moses, but with God's own revelation, presumably with wisdom and Torah in early Jewish thought.
All right, just to point out, I can't break all of it down. We'll be here forever, and I'm tired.
So John 17:3 does not debunk the Trinity or Christianity. The context actually shows it confirms the Trinitarian doctrine of Christianity. If you're going to make the bold claim that you can debunk the Trinity in less than a minute, you better make sure you actually do your research.
Oh man,
Who's this?
yikes, man, yikes. First of all, bro, you just represented a huge minority opinion of the Trinity, for starters. Secondly, like, Christianity means to follow Christ, but it's become a religion. Uh, but anyway, we'll get into like the Holy Spirit thing later. I should have maybe not even brought it up because I know that was gonna make people spiral too. But just be open with that, like you are with everything else. Could I be wrong about that? Sure. Like I recently had that really broke down to me. Actually, Jack broke it down to me a while ago, and this is the first time I publicly said something about it. But we'll get into it. Like, this is what iron sharpen iron means. Anyway, basically, if you're saying that the Father is the supreme entity, then that's the creator. The creator is the supreme creative force above all things. Okay? Jack could be wrong, LL. Yeah, of course. I don't believe things just because Jack says it. You can ask Jack. I disagree with him on all kinds of stuff. And every time he says something, I'm like expecting him to back it up with specific verses in Hebrew and Greek, and I go find out. Okay? It We'll get into the Holy Spirit thing. I would think you guys have realized by now that I don't just randomly say things, but maybe you haven't put that together. I don't know. but it's all good. In the beginning, not before the beginning. Exactly, Vader Bear. In the beginning, not before the beginning. Yeshua was the first thing the creator made, and I think that's what's being referenced specifically in that portion of Proverbs 8:22. But you can disagree. You can disagree. In a world, it's just talking about the personification of wisdom. I disagree. I disagree with you. We'll have to cover that too. So we have plenty of topics to cover. We'll try to do them like once a week. I'll try to have an open table discussion at times about it. But I was specifically led to like not hyper focus just on theology all the time, to wake people up to where we live and the other deceptions and that, and for them to then get brought closer to the creator. And I've had many hundreds of people tell me that very thing happened because of my content. And I'm super blessed to be able to be used to do that. And that's what my lane is. That's what the creator led me to do, you know. What's it? That guy read John 17:3, but not verse 22. Same glory Messiah gives men, so his point is 0. Yeah, of course they always just take verses out of context, bro. I mean, of course. It's crazy. North is like a freaking encyclopedia of scripture. Like Kingdom and Context, Jack and North all jumping on that stream. They all know more about scripture than I do. I have no problem humbly admitting that. My attention, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. They have an incredibly impeccable track record of not just making stuff up, but I still test what they say. It's like if you trust that I have an impeccable record of at least researching what I say, go double check what I say. Just be diligent and check it. So I don't know specifically what North's alluding to, but I can assure you he didn't just make it up, you know. But anyway, you're saying the same things I've heard from Unitarians when I was younger, which my parents opposed, so it's very difficult for me. I'm gonna research it for sure, but my parents studied it deep. Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, my parents are still believe in the Trinity, and like I said, I went to Trinity Christian Academy, and it was difficult for me because I reverted back to that same thing. And my parents would say they studied it deeply too, bro. If I call my parents right now and brought up the Trinity, my mom wouldn't even listen to me. She'd be like, "Who are you? I've been into church forever. I've been, what can you do?" I tried to talk to my mom about the name of the Messiah, and it was like a big deal. So I still love my parents, and I think that they're sincere when it comes to their belief in the Creator, and it is what it is. The Trinity isn't supported scripturally. That's the point. It's not going to be a whole thing. He had the wrong scripture posted versus what he read. All right, I love you guys. I can't do this anymore because it's 2.5 hours. I got to have some energy to continue going. My parents might believe we went to the moon. Yeah, my parents believe we went to the moon too. And my dad said he looked into it. So he actually didn't say he looked into it. But I'm just giving you a hard time. I mean, obviously you can hear what's wrong with it yourself. You can't just believe stuff because your parents did something. Will you contact Michael Jones to discuss this topic? Yeah, I would be down to do that. I don't know if you will, especially with me being a true earther, but the Trinitarian on the video spoke on the glory in John 17:3, verse 22, glory right verse. Okay. You're typing a little too choppy for me. I don't know all about it. All right. I love you guys. Hopefully this didn't trigger too much. I just wanted to give you guys my testimony. And basically what I think is like when people ask critical questions or they're critical of the scriptures, that's fine. I think that when they're not open to the answers or they're not willing to look into the Hebrew and the Greek and the context and figure out it was grabbled and get down to the truth of it and be sincere in their pursuit, that's when you're in dangerous water maybe. But I try to be humble and patient with people. I know that I'm wrong about things. And if I discover that I'm wrong about anything I said in this stream, I'll come and tell you guys that I was wrong. And one thing I can promise you that on this channel, I will always come and be humble, no matter how difficult it is, admit to you that I was wrong about something. And I know a lot of people want me to cover the Paul thing too. People think that Paul is evil and a deception and the Antichrist or an Antichrist. And I disagree, but I've heard compelling arguments for that until I looked into it. And then when I looked into it, I'm like, oh, it's grossly misunderstood and misrepresented. And people don't understand that he used to be in the Jewish, like religious leader type position and environment. So he's constantly talking to those people trying to pull him out of it. And so he's referencing more than one law. He's referencing Talmudic Jewish law that they added to the scriptures. And he specifically says, should we get rid of the Torah? Yah forbid. He's misrepresented and misunderstood a lot. But I will have to cover that in the future stream as well. So these are a lot of like super information heavy subjects where almost like each verse is a study. And that's what's so beautiful about the scriptures. It's like you really, dude, if you're really a truther and you know you got to diligently research things, you try to step up to the scriptures. You got a lot on your plate. So anyone just saying Jesus was the Son, Jesus was the Son, and it walks on the water because Jesus is the sunshine. It's like Jesus didn't really exist. He was mushrooms. It's like you can be assured that they don't know what they're talking about. Any holistic hand wave dismissal of the scriptures lacks diligent research. I know this firsthand. Uh, it's kind of beautiful. It sifts the real from the fake. It makes you have to really dig to the bottom of it or you can't find the truth, which makes more sense to me intuitively than you can just stumble upon a book and then all of a sudden you're saved. All of a sudden you're better than other people. Like, "Oh, I found the book. I found the book. Now I'm good. Oh, I said Jesus come into my heart. Now I'm good. I'm saved forever. Oh, Jesus decided before I was existent that I'm going to be saved. You're not. Sucks to be you. I found the book. I found the book. Now I'm better than you and I'm saved." Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's about the genuine pursuit of truth. It has to be. What about the people that existed before the book? It says that even if you don't know the name of the creator or about the book, every man's without excuse because when you just look at nature itself, you know there's a creator. So if you know there's a creator, go talk to him. Why do Trinitarians need Jesus to be God? Why not just let him be Jesus? It's just like an emotional doctrine that they were raised with, and you know how tradition is. Same reason people hang on to the globe. And like people, big respect to you. You're a good man. And I love to debate you on the Trinity if you're open to it. Up to you, bro. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think a lot of people do. I really want for one, I want to talk. I want to expose like the Christian view of the Trinity, and I don't think that that's what you would be defending. No one reads Galatians and comes away thinking we should be obeying Torah. Never. Does anyone read the Greek of Galatians? Does anyone read the context? Does anyone know who Galatians is? Does just people just ignore that? You know what's funny is no one says we should be obeying Torah. That's funny because who wrote Galatians? Wasn't that Paul? Didn't Paul say, "Does this mean that we should get rid of the Torah?" Yah forbid. He said with an exclamation mark, "Yah forbid that we get rid of the Torah." Seems you threw that part out, but like I said, there's so much to all this, man. All I'm saying is like, bro, I have a sincere spirit. I sincerely love you guys. I just want to spread the truth the best that I know, the best that I know at the moment, the best that I can. And that's all there is to it. That's my intention. I love you guys. Trust me, it's easier for me to not lose followers and supporters and to get insults and emails and a bunch of emotional spiraling and insults and gaslighting and hateful comments. But I just do it to try to help, man. And like whether you agree or disagree, surely you should be able to feel my intention. I love you guys. I think that we've all been deceived about tons of things. We just kind of got to get there and figure out what's going on. So there's that, you know. It's a process, bro. It's a process, and I don't think I'm better than you. I'm not trying to judge you. I will always hear out alternative positions, and I'll come and let you guys know if I figure out that I'm wrong. You shouldn't just follow me. I'm just a man. I just hope to stimulate thought so you'll go look into it yourself. And there you go. Support what you like or it goes away. What Bear said. Links to support in the description, I think. And go check out auditnasa.com. Working on the summit, so we'll have that coming soon. Trying to make a pretty legendary lineup of people. So that should be cool. I really do want to get Gary Wayne and maybe Randy Kelton. That alone makes the summit fire if you think about it, if you know who those two people are. But Paul is God too. Yeah, they don't understand how the word God is used. It's just a deception. But we'll do a whole Trinity thing. We'll break it down in the future. Anyway, I'll do a debate as well. I love you guys. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. I'll try to get School in the Globers done. I have so much going on. Anyone interested in trying to be a part of a team just overall for content to help me out with NASA Odds, like I said, reach out to me. I hope to eventually be able to pay people, but I can't even pay my own bills at the moment. So I'm unfortunately not in a position to do that. But I believe in the creator and trust him and it'll all work. But we got a lot of cool stuff on the horizon. If you didn't see last night's stream, I encourage checking it out, maybe 1.5 it or something. But I think that's going to be super epic. We got a lot of cool stuff on the horizon. The new level documentary, lots of stuff. Cool. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the super chats. Let me actually read Rockfin in case I got some, because sometimes I forget. Much respect. Keep looking. Thank you so much. Keep looking for the $10 super chat or donation on Rockfin. And let me actually go to Rockfin and look at the one. I missed another one from last night. I forget Rockfin a lot. Oh, how dare you? Last night's stream was excellent. So it's talking about that Christianity Exposed stream. Last night's stream was excellent. Caught it today. I appreciate a thoughtful, emotional, long form conversation like the one you guys had. It didn't seem like it was as long as it was. Here's a few fiat fake bucks. Don't spend them all in one place. Thank you for the $10 tip. C. Tetlow, much love. Thank you for the kind words. Susan Jenkins, thank you for the $5 tip on Rockfin. All right, cool. Thank you guys for kicking it. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. Let me get a drink. Iron Horse, I think there's a way you can finesse to get enough subscribers, bro. Or next time I'm on here, jump on here, try to tell me your channel. I'll try to promote it. Go to WitsitGetsIt 2.0. Go to NASA Audits and sub. We're going to be uploading some fire content there. Try not to say flat earth a lot in comments or anything on that channel. We want to keep it away from censorship, please. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. So who cares what other people think? They're always going to attack you. You're always going to have emotional cognitive dissonance response whenever you speak truth that's contrary to what people believe. It is what it is. Just remain humble and diligent in the pursuit for the truth. Once you find it, seek it and speak it unequivocally, boldly, no matter what people do. What's popular is not true. What's true is not always popular. That's the way that it goes. And just remain diligent in your pursuit of truth. For Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. If you want to support the stream, links in the description. And whenever they revile you for his name's sake, rejoice. They did all the prophets before you. I'll catch up with you guys on the flip side like a coin toss. Till manana. Peace out. Much love.
That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force them as simple that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature to mean extorted it. They forging it. If news anchors informants who informing them, there's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this report. And ships important, yes of course it is. But extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informing this, informing this. It looked like we were snoring tricks. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those as subordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?